Welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Grizzly, and this video is for those of you who just want to listen to these audio files that we've been studying in the Madeline Soto case. As you know, I made a FOIA request in April of 2024, and it took 4 months to receive all these files, and I'm so grateful that we were able to, because now we can listen to some of the interviews that we've been reading so much about. About 2 months ago, right now, of course, the date is August 28th of 2024, just depending on when you watch this, right? About 2 months ago or so, we had studied a 896-page document from the district attorney's office, and in it, they actually detailed a lot of these interviews that we're now hearing, obviously then in writing. So we'd been through that. There was a part 1, 2, and 3. It's all on the playlist. And now to actually have that audio and be able to listen to what Madeline Soto's teacher said, what Stephan Sterns' parents said, what Madeline Soto's mother said, and Stephan Sterns himself, it's great to be able to hear the tone, to understand, what they were saying, what the questions were asked, and all of that. So to all of you who are part of the live streams, as you know, we are busy studying the audio files. But this, I even find useful for myself. Personally, I listen to these as well because you can change the speed. If you don't know, just go toggle the switch. It's like a little gear setting, right? Just toggle that to increase or decrease the speed as you wish. You can also turn on closed captioning. It should be available. YouTube sometimes takes a few hours to process the video to make closed captioning available, but it should be there. And it should just help to do a second or third round of listening to these audio interviews in case there's anything that we as a community missed. Because I find the more I listen to it, the more I pick up. I think one's brain can only absorb so much at a time. And we have been listening to so much audio and reading so many documents that I find, when people email me, I can see, okay, we have to go over that again, or I have to remind people of something. So that's why I make these files so that you can listen to them and see if you pick up anything that you missed the first time. Leave your comments below. They're always very insightful. I really appreciate them. If you want to email me, my email is grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. And also, if you don't know anything about this case, I hope that you'll expand the description box, read what I've written there for you, and click on the playlist, because there we've done lots of presentations, deep dives, document read-throughs, audio studies of these files, right? Even 3 months ago, there was actually one Stephan Sterns interview that was released by the media. And so we listened to that one before, and so we continue on. I'm not going to put all the audio files that I've received all in one video because I just think it's just too long. It's overwhelming. We chunk it and we study it little bit by little bit. So this one is Chris Sterns being interviewed by the police on the day that his son was arrested. They tell him towards the end that his son has been arrested and what he was charged with. And then also the second part of the interview is Chris and Debra Sterns, and that was about 5 days after Madeline Soto's body was discovered. So everything's timestamped for you. If you don't know what a timestamp is, just check the description box or the pinned comments or hover over the video. It's just where I chapter things out for you. So it's very easy to navigate through and know what you're actually listening to. All right, so I will see you in the next one. I've still got other ones to make for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet subscribe, become part of this community. And I'll see you at the next live stream where we study the next, whatever it is. In this case and many other cases, audio file, document, map, the presentation, the timeline, the bullet points, all that sort of thing. Or the trials, of course. I look forward to this trial. Stephan Sterns has a trial date at the time of this recording set for October 14th of 2024, and that is a status hearing. So I guess we'll find out. Is he going to plead guilty or not? He hasn't. He has so far said not guilty. But is he going to decide to plead guilty or not? Is it going ahead to trial? That seems to be the plan. This is also going to be a death penalty trial if it goes ahead. So we shall see what date that will be. I look forward to watching the trial with you if they do show it to us. All right, everyone. I'll see you again very soon with the next file or at the next live stream. Stay safe. Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share.
Big ass tower out in Bithlow that collapsed, and there were people working on it. They didn't send me to it because I was stationed someplace else, but I heard that guys were walking through the field. Oh, here's a utility bill. Pull it up and there's a body. I mean, that's smash that person into the ground.
Oh wow!
And that was a big
That's
event.
terrible.
Back then we had stainless steel revolvers.
Yeah.
And I was telling the other guy I was driving at one time I had a Pala that the siren button was a button on the floor, left side.
Yeah.
No air conditioning.
No air conditioning in Central Florida?
Yeah. And I pulled the guy over and I clocked him, and it was just above Brewer Hill on Aloma, and he said, I think you were doing 70, and he said, no, this car won't do it 70. I said, this car does 70, and it was clocking you at 70. Gave him the ticket.
How long did you do?
I was in a couple of years, and then I just felt like I wanted to get into sales. There was a guy that lived in the apartment complex I lived at that worked for Stouffer Foods, and so here's the life. He's on the phone, he's making hotel reservations, he's making golf reservations, he's making dinner reservations. He had a company car, and I said, I want a job like that. So I went to Atlanta and ended up getting a job with Campbell Soup, and I was in the food business for 20 years.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, very nice.
So obviously this is a huge deal, right?
Obviously it's changed from where it was at 3 o'clock.
Yeah. So throughout our investigation, we came up with, obviously you live down in Northport?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm just going to shoot you straight out of respect for you and everything else.
Appreciate it.
There's a storage unit down there.
Yeah, I have a storage unit.
You have a storage unit. Is that your son's storage unit,
No,
or is
it's
that
mine.
that's your storage unit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does he have access to it?
No, I have the keys.
Okay. Were you aware that, did your son come visit you on Monday morning?
This Monday?
Yeah.
No, he
the day
left
she
Sunday.
disappeared. Okay.
He left Sunday,
No, go ahead, Evan. Yeah.
So, what time did you get here last night?
3 a.m.
3 a.m. When you got here, where did you meet your son and Jennifer?
We apparently pulled up at the same time at the hotel.
Perfect. Okay. When you guys got there, what did you guys end up doing?
We checked into the rooms. They had 239. I had 203. Opposite ends of the building. I brought my stuff up, went over and said goodnight, and then hit the sack.
After you guys went to your separate ways, when's the next time you talked to Stephan?
I got up at 6:30, 3 hours sleep, and went to the office because I figured he would be sleeping in, crashed and burned, and didn't speak to Jen until 10:45-ish, and she called and asked if Stephan was with me, and I said no. Why? Well, he's not here. Oh, we'll go down to the lobby and see if he's down there. How long has he been gone? 25 minutes. Okay. I said, go check the lobby. And then I started to think about it, called her back, and I said, do you have the keys? No, I don't have the keys. So then she said, well, they just called and they're going to be out here within the hour. I said, oh, shit. So I drove out there. So it's probably out to the hotel because I was at my office.
Oh, okay.
Over off of Westwood. And I just grabbed my stuff and said, I'm going to go out there in case you guys showed up. I wanted to be there. So he hadn't showed up by the time I got there, and about 30 minutes later he finally showed up, and I read him the fucking riot act.
Did he tell you where he was?
Well, he had an energy drink in his hand. He said he got lost. And in the back roads. Hell, I got lost, and I had a GPS. And I said, no, this isn't the right exit. I had to do a U-turn. So I always get messed up over there.
Okay, so like my partner said, we're not here to waste your time. You've been in this line of work before. Did he tell you he was in Northport today? I'm assuming he didn't, based on your reaction. So, do you need to take a seat? Or?
No, okay. He was in Northport.
Yes. What's the exit you take to get off at your house?
I'm going to 179.
Okay, do you know the street?
Toledo Way.
Okay. So we have more than enough reason to believe that Stephan was in Northport today at the exit that you take to get to your house. Our concern is we're conducting a missing person investigation.
Yes.
Given the proximity of that exit to your home, what we're trying to find out is if she's just hanging out in your house, you just wanted to get her somewhere safe, we want to put eyes on her, make sure she's okay.
She's not at our house because my wife... Well, here's something strange.
Is anybody at your house now?
Yes. Hang on a second. We raise standard poodles.
Say it again?
We raise standard poodles.
Oh, okay. Poodle.
And they all... except they went on full fucking alert. House, yes, throughout this period of time.
At what time do you think
That's
that
what
was?
I thought.
Okay.
What time did the dogs go full alert last night?
I'll grab your water.
Okay, all right, thanks. 319.
3:19 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys have like ring cameras, any kind of security cameras on the property?
So we locked the door, and the door has a keypad, but when I left last night, it wasn't flashing. And that keypad, the battery's been in that thing for 4 years. So I called last night and I said, hey, that keypad doesn't seem to be working. It's not working right. So if you go out the garage, or you need to come back into the garage with the remote control. But she said the dogs went full alert at 3:19. We were at the hotel at 3 o'clock, so there's no way he could have been in Northport.
How big is your property down there?
Quarter acre.
Okay. So we've been in communication with some law enforcement down there, trying to work in some leads. Would it be all right if we send someone to go talk to your wife?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll coordinate that. So she's home now.
Right?
Yeah. So we're working the missing person investigation currently.
Well, let me give her a heads up because it's going to be noisy.
Okay.
We got 5 standard poodles.
How is your property out there? Is it like a neighborhood? Do you guys have?
No, it's on scattered lines.
Okay.
Standard laws.
Yeah.
So no
Is it
woods
gated?
What?
Is it gated?
No, it's on scattered lines. It's just, no.
Yeah.
Our backyard's gated. They're going to come over and want to search a house for, apparently, can I tell them?
Yeah.
Apparently, Stephan made a trip down to Northport last night. Or this morning, I should say. I have no idea. But there's a storage unit, but he wouldn't have access to the keys to the storage unit because I have the only key to it. And that would have been locked in my car, and he would have had to come in my room, which he didn't have a key to get into it. He doesn't have a key. He took Jen's key. Storage room. It's in my console.
Can she check and make sure the key's there?
What? Well, is the key in the basket? Well, go look at the key in the basket.
The key in the console is in this car that you're driving up?
Hang on a second. What?
You said the key in the console is in
My car. Yeah, it's only one key.
This car out here?
Yeah. Do I need to go look?
Yeah, let's go see if it's in there.
Yes, so she can look for the key in the house. We can look for the key in the car.
We were wondering if you had a console. And the cube and they bleed in the back seat for whatever procedure they have. So that's the Bill sailor. Watch out, sailor.
Oh, there's a poodle with you.
No, it's a.
Oh, no, that's like a...
It's my sister's shit. Yeah, right there.
And that's the only key you
That's the
have
only
to
key.
the storage unit?
Yeah. There's supposed to be 2 keys, but I haven't seen that key.
Is his name on the storage unit at all?
No, it's mine.
Like he can't show up and say, hey, I lost my key. Can you give me access to...
In theory, right? Here's your waters.
Oh, thanks.
So other than the storage unit in your house, could you see any reason for Stephan to go down to where you live?
No.
Does he have friends down there? Other family members?
No other family members. He's got some friends or acquaintances that he plays whatever war games are done.
Like computer games or?
No, it's a board game.
He plays like card games and action figures.
Oh,
Yeah, he's painted all these caricatures and what have you. And he's gotten, some awards or recognitions for the work that he's done with these characters. But what time did you catch him on the camera down there?
He knows exactly what it is. He's on the phone, so I don't want to misspeak. But it was clearly when you were unaware that he was down there.
So I went to bed.
How long does it take you to get from Orlando to there?
Well, with no traffic out last night, 2.5 hours.
Okay.
But if you're dealing with traffic early this morning, you're going to be looking at close to 3.
Yeah.
Because the traffic on I-4 getting out of here, and then you catch up to 75, and then you catch up to Bradenton. And
What ways can you go?
you can go through the center of the state.
Is that the turnpike?
No, the center of the state would be where the technical college is on I-4.
Okay.
You hit there, and then you go down like 27 or 17%. But you go down the center of the state and avoid all that bullshit.
27 to what?
I'd have to look it up on
70
the
or
map because
something?
I don't pay attention. I just follow the GPS.
Okay.
But you're going down really the middle of the state, and you dump out at Arcadia, and then you head towards 75, Kings Highway, and then you go up north to Toledo.
Okay. It's like speaking German when you're not from there.
Hey, listen, I grew up here.
Yeah.
Went to Winter Park High. And
What brings you down to Northport?
Well, we build homes in 6 cities. I'm the broker for the company.
Okay.
We started in Poinciana and No Habla Español. So I was actually going to go to Palm Coast, and then I went over to look at some homes that we were building in Northport and said, oh, this is beautiful. I love it. It's rural.
Yeah.
And I said, and I expected it to mirror our experience in Palm Coast, but we had a bit of a rocky start. Right now I got 100 homes that are going to be completed, and the market's changed, and I'd love to be able to sell them right away. But I went down there because I thought it was a better area. The whole Southwest is a great area.
It's a booming area.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, Northport was rated the second fastest growing city last year.
Just got to get these Yankees to come down and buy some homes.
Well,
Right?
everybody's stuck in their homes.
Yeah.
They love those 2 and 3% interest rates, which
Yeah.
will never go away.
No.
And they'll never repeat.
They'd be foolish to get rid of those.
Yeah. Well, the Northerners coming down here will, because they want to get the hell out of the North.
So when you read your son the Riot Act, what do you mean by that?
I said, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I said, if they came here and you weren't here, they would immediately put a bolo out and find you and arrest your ass and just haul you off to jail. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. And I said, I'm just so fed up with him at this point.
Yeah.
And obviously there's something here because I've been here almost 6 hours. So, I've been here 6 hours. So something's going on. Look, he spent a lifetime lying to us.
Okay.
And it's just never gotten better. And he fed me some bullshit the other day. And before I left the house the other night, I turned to my wife and I said, do we really know Stephan? Can we honestly say we really know him?
Yeah.
And she got really kind of defensive a little bit. I said, no, I'm not saying that he did something, but can we honestly say we really know him?
So the other day.
Well, when I left yesterday, when I left last night, I said, hey, I turned to her, I said, do we really know him? Is he capable of doing something harmful to her?
Why would you suspect that?
Because some inconsistencies of phone calls he had with me didn't add up. Okay, so I'll give you the sequence. He calls me mid-afternoon, 3-ish, maybe 3:45 or something, and say, I just had a flat tire. Okay, how the fuck did you get a flat tire? You just drove over to Kissimmee. You took her to, maybe you're running an errand, but where would you have gone to get a flat tire? The tire was so flat, he drove on it and ran the is that Jen?
Yeah, we were finishing up.
He ran the rubber right off the wheel.
Yeah.
So he had to travel a good distance to do that. And then he pulled into a shopping center, and I said, was the donut in there? Yeah, swapped it out and almost crushed my thumb. I said, okay.
Do you know what shopping center he changed his tire?
No.
Or where he pick up the flat or anything?
I have no idea. So
This
then,
was Monday, just to confirm.
yeah, Monday afternoon. Do we want to talk someplace else?
We can, yeah. You
Yeah.
want to put Jen in the truck? Jen, you mind
Watch
sitting in
the
the truck
dog.
for a little bit while we finish talking to...
In the trunk?
Yeah, that's fine. Or wherever you're comfortable. You can sit in the Lincoln or whatever you guys...
How long are we going to be?
A few more minutes? Yeah.
And we're done. Could be more.
It's been a while already, and I apologize.
That's fine.
All right, take them out. So then, okay, so then around 5 o'clock I get this call, and he's telling me about, well, there's been an incident, and that then he tells me that he dropped her off. And I said, well, tell me what you mean by that. And he said, well, I dropped her off. She doesn't want to be seen being dropped at school because you're not driving a cool enough car. Oh, okay, so you're not driving a Lamborghini, you can't drop her off at school. Okay, dropped her up the block off. He said he watched her through the rearview mirror, walked toward school, and then he left. And I said, okay. And so now you're finding out when you went to pick her up that she wasn't there. And everybody's just discovering this at the end of the day. How many hours later? Okay. So then, trying to think when I had the conversation about his phone. So I said, okay, well, they're going to want to know where your whereabouts were because you're the last person that saw her, so they're going to want to know. I said, did you have your phone with you? No. Why would you have your phone? I just forgot it. Forgot mine. I said, beautiful. So then he tells me that he did an OS update. Now I'm a techie guy, and I said, okay, and he said to wipe the phone out. Really? How does that happen? It's an OS update. It's automatic. You say yes, and that's it. It updates, and then it reboots. It doesn't reset. It reboots. Well, I was multitasking, and I hit a wrong button, and it reset. And I questioned him that, and I said, so there were some inconsistencies there. So why would that phone be wiped out? And I asked him last night when you guys wanted the phone. I said, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to give them the phone? No, I don't think so. I said, okay, give them the phone.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is there something on the phone?
Has he ever suffered from like mental illness or anything?
From what?
Mental illness?
Me?
No, not him.
Okay. When he was 8, he and a friend were playing in a parking area, and a guy came out and got in his Toyota pickup truck, said hello to the kids, and then backed up over them. And they both were run over, but he got hit in the knock in the head with the bumper, and he had a slight tick. He had separation anxiety, so he slept with us for a while, and finally I said, no, you got to go to your own bed and get over that. He would go over to a neighbor's home and spend the night and show up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning wanted to come home. But as far as
nothing diagnosed or medication?
Well, he's been seeing a psychiatrist or psychologist or something. Okay. He's been on anxiety meds, depression or what have you. I have no idea what they're talking about because obviously he doesn't share that with me. But he's battled a number of things: depression, anxiety, and what have you.
As a child or as an adult?
Maybe ADD as a child, but as an adult, more severe.
Okay. Was he able to
suffers from sleep apnea.
Was he able to complete school no problem?
Well, depends on who completed it. His mother, who we did online schooling, and she ended up doing most of the work for him.
Did he ever go to college?
No.
What did he do for work?
I've had him work with me in a variety of ways. When we were here in Orlando from 2010 to 2013, I did these, what they call BPOs. They're kind of like appraisals. I did 15,000 of them, and I had him and his friends go out and take these photos. And it was always a challenge to get his ass out of bed and go to work. No motivation. The more you do, the more you make. Yeah. No motivation there. So and after that, that work went away. I got involved in various projects around the state of Florida, he really didn't do much. He worked at Quiznos for a while. That didn't last long until he wrecked his car. So he's been living with us and me trying to get him out of the house to go work. We came down to Northport. He stayed there with Jen. So while we were down there until December of last year, he lived with Jen. And then I was supporting him in Orlando, and I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. You got to come back.
Yeah.
And I was trying to create an opportunity for him down there, but that didn't materialize. Then I'm trying to get his ass out to get a job at Lowe's or Home Depot or something.
Time-wise, it's sometime like 7:45. She was down there.
7:45 this morning?
Yes. So, did you tell your wife that Northport PD is on the way? Did you speak to her already?
I will let her know that. We got sidetracked on something. They're coming there to see if she's hiding in the house?
Yeah, so what we'd like to do is, given that he went down there, we'd like to make sure like he didn't stash her in a bedroom and hey, just hang out here. You know.
No, she's been sorting out his bedroom because he lives like a fucking pig.
And you said you guys have a Ring camera, right?
Well, I was about to tell you that. Okay. I switched. Hey, Northport Police is going to stop by to do a wellness check type of thing. They're going to see if somehow house.
Right around the house yelling her name. And just, that motherfucker, you know what stopped him from getting in the house? He didn't have a garage door opener. The front door lock is not working well.
Yep.
And I had put the lock on the slider.
Okay.
He couldn't get in.
All right. So I'm with the detectives, and they're sending Northport Police over to do a check to make sure that she isn't there. Okay. So you may want to alert the dogs. They're really friendly.
I've got their food. I'm fixing to feed them.
Okay.
Just tell them it'll get noisy, okay?
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to let you go.
They're good guys. I've been laying line with them.
Yeah.
If there are any issues, give me a call.
All right. All right. Bye.
And then as far as outside of your house, what does the layout of your yard look like?
Well, there's a house to the right of me, and to the left of me there's woods, and there's woods across the street that fronts I-75. At 7:45, it would have been well lit. There would be traffic, small amount of traffic going up and down our street because they're constructing homes nearby, and so there's always people doing that.
So this is no HOAs, I'm assuming?
No, sir. No, it's all scattered by.
When you say woods, you mean like woods, or like a thicket?
Wood. Yes.
What's your address?
With a satellite view, you'll see there's wooded lots all around. So next to me, there's a new house, and he's a renter. There's my house, and then to the left, there is wooded lot. There's a lot of wooded lots before my house, and then you run into one or two houses.
So going back to the cameras, you were going to say something.
Okay, so I ditched Comcast, and
Okay.
I had the Sky Bell hooked up to Comcast.
Okay.
And I realized when I kept seeing this orange light, I said, shit, I got to move this over. It's a pain in the ass. Move it over to the Frontier Communications versus Comcast. So I've got to reconnect it with the internet.
So the cameras weren't working for the last
No,
week?
because we
Okay.
discontinued the service. Matter of fact, the modem's sitting on my office floor.
All right. Do you think your son's capable of doing something like this? I know it's a hard question as a father.
I wasn't a hero and a welcome comment. I said, how well do we know him?
Yeah.
And nothing would surprise me at this point. I don't know.
Is your wife his mom?
Yes, we are biological parents to him. I'm going to say anything's possible.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, there would have to be some ulterior motive for
Sure.
some reason.
Sure.
Was there a motive?
Well, we don't know. We're trying to find her. we still think she's
Yeah.
alive. So
Well, this press conference indicated that she had some comments on social media about "I want to live in the woods."
Yeah.
Was that accurate, or
that was.
well?
We're not going to put anything inaccurate out there. That
Yeah.
just tarnishes the validity of the
I asked Jen
investigation.
about that. She said, "Yeah, we had a conversation about a third world war. Where would you live? You know, the Palestine-Israeli situation. That's what I said. Okay.
So that was more of a fictitious. If doomsday happens,
Yeah.
sweetheart, where are you going to
Yeah.
live? Is that accurate?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'll go live in the woods." I said, "I don't." Is she going to live in the woods now by herself? I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, my idea of roughing it is Howard Johnson's without a pool.
What is?
No kidding.
Do you know the unit number for your storage unit?
Yeah.
Because obviously you see the scope of both of them. At some point, we may want to get that storage unit as well.
I was there a couple of weeks ago pulling out some tax boxes. There's not that much room in there. I mean, you could stash a body if you wanted to, if that's the case. But like I said, as far as I know, I have the only key. I don't know if there were 2 keys issued, and I haven't seen the other key for well over a year or so.
Is there a chance that he has that key?
I would say
There's always a chance,
there
right?
could be a chance because he's stolen from us,
Okay.
and why he would want it is beyond me, because all his stuff is that he has, guitar or what have you, is stuck in the very back, and he didn't want that. But I've ended up trying to clean out our garage, and I stuck all the other stuff there, and he wouldn't like that. Nor would I think he would spend the time to pull shit out of there to get it.
What did he think about?
My impression is that he loves the shit out of her.
Yeah.
And he was very upset Monday when he was talking to me. He was sobbing and blaming himself for her disappearance, and he was just. I could tell he was just going to be an emotional wreck.
Yeah. Did he ever have? Did he discipline her? How long were?
It's hearsay. He may have yelled at her because Jen and Jen would tell me this. The Jen.
Did you ever have like extensive, maybe during the holidays or whatever, where you were with the whole family?
They came down at Thanksgiving or Christmas. My wife and the dog.
Slept with who?
My wife and the dog.
And the dogs.
Yeah.
And during those times, was your relationship seemingly normal?
Yeah. I mean, they secluded themselves in Stephan's room, the 3 of them.
And then Jen.
Okay. And they would spend the bulk of their time there, times and play with the dogs. They would bring Sailor with them.
Okay.
And would go into the bedroom and maybe read a book or watch a movie together, hang out.
Okay. And nothing, I mean, you were a cop for years. Nothing you noticed that would be alarming?
I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary.
Okay.
So then just going back to the storage unit, obviously they're going to go to the house and check in the near future. Do you have any issues with us checking out your storage?
Your code was used this morning to access the property, the storage property. Your keypad code. I have Northport PD in front of your storage unit. I know we're in a kind of a weird situation. Are you all right if they end up breaking the lock to get in there to make sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Alex,
He just asked, I just heard it, he just asked Mr. Sterns if he was okay with us breaking the lock.
How do they access the keypad?
He told him we were here, somebody
How do they
accessed.
access the
We're working with management down there.
He said yes. Are you okay with that?
And this is statewide news. This is huge news.
Yep.
So a lot of people are going above and beyond helping us.
Let me go downstairs.
I didn't even know he had the key.
Okay.
I don't know how he would have gotten the keypad.
It's interesting. What's your code?
Let's go get some paperwork real quick.
Sure. What do you want to do?
They want the waivers signed before they break down that door. Like consent search.
okay.
So, yeah, they want a consent search. So,
Yeah. Do you mind?
Will they take a wet signature or an e-signature?
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think
You pay, your code was entered to enter the property this morning.
And what time was that at?
9.
9.
So 9.
and your wife by chance wouldn't have went to the storage room. She wouldn't even know where it is.
And Jen was with you this whole time, right? So
Well, wait. When I don't know where Jen was until she called me at 11,
okay, at 11.
and she said, "Hey, Stephan's not here. Is he with you?"
Okay.
So then he made up this story of getting lost and whatever. So there we go.
We can probably go upstairs.
Was that?
We can go upstairs.
Yeah.
We'll take these elevators right here.
Well, we're putting steps in, just walking around.
Yeah, I think that was
I was like 8,900, and I said, well, if I keep walking, I'll hit my 10,000 steps for the day.
Was this the sheriff's office? There's no way this was the sheriff's office. When you
No,
worked here.
it was just opening up.
Down on 33rd is where you guys were at?
Yeah.
Who was the sheriff?
Mel Coleman.
No. Okay.
You'll have to Google it.
I would. Well, we have his pictures. We have shrines of past sheriffs all over. I'm sure we'll see him.
He was a good guy. He was kind of, I guess, revolutionary back then, young guy and what have you.
Yeah.
But, what was the pay back then? I think I was making $800 a month. Tell me about it.
Yeah, but back then that was a good job, right?
Well, it was fun. I tell you what, once you get it into your blood, you never let it go. So I was moving from Campbell Street from Jacksonville to Orlando.
I guess that's not going to be able to get back to her.
I'll go there. Yeah.
And I'm taking this truck back Sunday evening, and I've got to be at the office in Jacksonville to take somebody out of ride-along.
Yeah.
Monday morning.
Hey, Evan, we'll just hang out here, because he doesn't have a proxy. Okay.
So I pull up 436, 1792 in Casper. There's a green pickup truck in front of me. I'm driving this stupid Pepsi rental truck. And as I'm approaching the intersection, this guy is weaving. And so we pull through the intersection, and this guy's weaving, and then I notice up ahead the guy's riding his bicycle, and this guy pulls over, and it's like, fuck, he's going to hit this guy.
Oh, no.
He hit him. Sent him flying. I went running up to I drove up to him, and he pulled into the ABC liquor lot for whatever reason, and turned around and looked at me and said, "Thank you very much. I got your face. I've got your license plate. I got on the payphone," because that's what you did back then, and called out of my police department and said, told him what happened. I said, "I think he's going to be heading eastbound on I-4. They came up.
Hey, Evan, is that remote right there? Can we turn this thing off? Yeah.
And so, Alamo PD came up, took a report, as I'm talking to him, we did a video alert because they got the guy. Now they got me to identify it. I did a report. I didn't get out of there until midnight. And I get outside of Jacksonville, not far from my exit, and the car stops.
Yeah.
I'm now stuck on 95 at 3 a.m. I've got to be at the office at 7 a.m. And these sailors coming back picked me up and took me to my apartment. And I said, "Thank you, Lord, appreciate that."
Yeah.
And it was a long day, to say the least.
So are you guys still residing in Orlando part-time? You mentioned something off of Westwood.
Well, that's where our corporate office is.
That's where your corporate office is.
And so when I got up this morning, I went over there to meet up with everybody and then kill some time because I'm just a type A personality. I'm just not going to sit around waiting for whatever.
So sitting in a parking lot had to kill you.
It did. It's just like, come on.
Yeah.
So, anyway, It wouldn't surprise me if somehow he stole the key out of my car, because I
Okay.
put all the keys there.
Okay.
So I had.
Does he have access to your car?
He would.
He would.
Because I would keep the keys on my desk. He could easily go in there. And who's saying this?
And when was the last time he was at your house in Northport? Was it over the weekend for her birthday?
Did they see him on
So I moved him back down from Kissimmee in December
Okay.
to try to get him started on another career opportunity.
Okay.
It didn't materialize, so I'm trying to work on some other things. So he visited them. He lied to me about this. He visited them maybe 6 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Hey,
Visited who? I'm sorry.
Jen.
Okay.
And I'm going to Frank's house, and I need a little extra cash. Okay, when are you going to be back? I'll be back later tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I get an alert that a toll booth charge. On E-Pass, I get an alert. I go, motherfucker. Call him up and say, how's Kissimmee?
Yeah.
So he lied to me about what he was doing.
Yeah.
But he was in Orlando until 3 o'clock, maybe Sunday, and then he left because I told him he had to take care of his room, clean the mess out of there before he could go.
Yeah.
So he did that, and he got up there at 6:30 or so.
So I was kind of overhearing their conversation. Would it be safe to say and accurate that your son had no rights to this this storage unit at all?
If he asked my permission, I would allow it.
Did he ever ask your permission?
No.
Okay.
And again, like I said, I've been missing this key for how long have I had this? Maybe I've had this unit for maybe 18 months.
Okay. So was he staying with you kind of in Northport?
Yeah.
Up until now.
I moved him back in December because I couldn't afford to.
Okay, so from December to today, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Where was he staying up here with Jen?
Yeah.
Okay. I just realized we just let Jen downstairs. She had the key to your truck?
No.
Okay. Well, I guess we won't be too long. Just it's dark out. Okay. All right. So he stays down there, and how often does he come up here to visit Jen and Maddie?
I think since he left in December, this would be the second, maybe third trip. But second, maybe third.
Yeah. Okay. So in December, that's February, almost March, 2nd of May. So maybe once a month. Would that be fair?
He actually went in December for Christmas time, now that I think about it, because he was not included in the family outing, but he was there. So then he made this faux trip there, and then he made this, so 3 times. He's been there 3 times.
Okay. And she stays at that apartment in Kissimmee. Has she been staying there?
And he rented, and they which I ended up having to pay.
Renting a room within the same apartment?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Jen's father rents the rooms out.
And does Jen's father live there? Or does he lease the apartment and then sublease the rooms inside?
Well, he owns the townhouse and he rents out the rooms and charges his daughter rent.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, I came into this towards the tail end of the investigation. For some reason, I thought he was living in that apartment like today.
No.
But, okay.
No, he was just visiting.
All right. You guys going back home tonight?
No, I booked the room for tonight.
Okay.
Go back tomorrow.
Okay. Well,
I didn't know what was going to happen today, so I booked the room for the second night.
Okay. Well, I don't know what they're
You know what really gets me? When I left him at 3 o'clock, you know, you could see that he was physically exhausted and worn out. Matter of fact, I heard a comment when I was talking to them that he was falling asleep in the car on the way to the hotel. So I figured he'd get in bed, crash and burn, and that would be it. It's pretty ballsy to assume that Jed would sleep through the entire night and not wake up and find he wasn't there.
I don't disagree with you.
Because at 10:45 she calls and said, "Is Stephan with you?" And I go, "No."
Yeah.
He said, "Well, he hasn't been here for 25 minutes."
And that's probably, I'm assuming, like she woke up, it's been 25 minutes, and he hadn't shown up.
Yeah, expecting him to return, and he never returned.
Yeah.
And then he showed up maybe towards 11:30. Yeah, maybe it was like 11:30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now this really, 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 really blows my mind. Obviously, something. I'm afraid to even say it. Think it.
And what's that?
There's just too many inconsistencies here, and his behavior is indicating something else is going on here. You know, why would he spend nearly 6 hours driving round trip to go to Northport to the storage unit?
Well,
I mean,
hopefully we may be able to figure that out.
The body was in Jen's car.
We're trying to figure it out.
Have you asked him?
Yeah.
Jen Soto.
Yeah, we talked to him. So.
Hey, I'm inside the building.
Let me check on them. Don't wander off too much.
What's that?
Pausing the recording at 10:15. It's a surreptitious recording with Mr. Sterns. My name's Corporal Richards. Also 10:12 with me was Corporal Evan Avila and Kissimmee Detective. Resuming to Mr. Sterns. Still there?
Mr. Sterns.
No, go ahead.
So we were initially going to go ahead and use the consent, but we're going to kind of slow down on that aspect. We want to make sure we're doing this all the right way to do what's best for her and to make sure that we're above board on everything. So while we greatly appreciate your cooperation, we're not going to force entry in there right now. Does your wife ever go to the storage unit?
Does she what?
Ever go to the storage unit?
No. No, she's never been to that storage unit.
How does he know the code to your code to the storage unit? Is it written down somewhere?
No. So I was thinking about that earlier. So there's another incident here. So I get a call from the storage unit 2 or 3 weeks ago telling me that they were running an audit of the units because there was going to be an inspection or something, and my unit wasn't properly locked. So the way it works is that you've got this slide mechanism, unlock it and then unbolt it from the hinge, and then you have to push it back and secure it in one of the 2 holes. And they said it wasn't properly locked, and they had flagged it, and I needed to get over there and fix it. So I went over there, opened it up, looked at it, everything's fine, and then locked it properly. And I'm going to say maybe there's a 50-50 chance I did that, but I'm pretty anal about it. And so, I don't know.
A 50-50 chance you did what? What do you mean?
Pardon?
A 50-50 chance you did what?
I may not have locked it properly, or maybe now that I'm aware that he possibly had a key to it, that he went into the unit.
Okay.
But nothing out of the ordinary.
Has he ever gone to the unit to help you with something and you get?
Oh, he's helped me load it up, yeah.
Okay. So he could have the code for that.
Maybe he observed me punching in the code.
Okay.
Which is pretty devious on his part.
Yeah.
I mean.
So.
How long did it take you to get up here last night?
Pretty good time.
When you say pretty good time,
there's no traffic.
So
none on 75 and nothing on. So I think I got up here I'm definitely under 3 hours, but I would say at least 2.5 hours. Trying to figure out where we were going to stay because had no idea. So we found a place out there off of Western Parkway. So I think I left around midnight and got up here 2:45-ish.
All right. Well,
I can pinpoint it exactly just by looking at what time I called.
That's all right. That was kind of just a
ballpark because we don't go down to Northport at all. Well, so we've been all very straightforward with each other. You've inferred several times that you suspect there's more going on. Mm-hmm. We did do a release. Your son has been arrested for sexual battery.
What?
Your son was arrested for sexual battery. Essentially rape. Okay. And that's where we're at with this investigation right now.
Obviously it wasn't Jen, but
so it's still active, so we won't get into who the victim is, but I mean, you've done this job before. I think you can reasonably infer where we're at.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why things are going to slow down a little bit.
Understand.
We're we're slowing the pace down just a little bit. In that regard, not necessarily in the regard of trying. Okay, so we're going to be, executing a search warrant down there at the storage unit. There's no reason to break the lock. We're just going to go take a look.
So you need me there with the key to let you in?
Not necessarily. They'll coordinate that, and we'll coordinate with the storage unit and get that done. So that's kind of where we're at, and I'm pretty sure Jen already knew that happened. So
Jen do what?
Jen does know, correct?
Yes. So
Jen knows that he's been arrested. Jen doesn't know anything about the incident itself.
She's a little more informed, given that direct involvement. Whether she chooses to share that with you or not.
Yeah, we're protected under law of disclosing victims' information. But we've had a long conversation, and all that.
Before you go, because I don't know if the Kissimmee officer has your contact information, just so I can relay it. What is your phone number, Mr. Sterns? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand that to the lead detectives on the case.
So you say Kissimmee, so it's not.
Initially, we believed this was going to be a sheriff's office case, and at this point, it's not looking like it's going to be a sheriff's. It's going to be a Kissimmee case. Now we are heavily involved, which is why we're all here.
Well, you got two issues you're dealing with here.
What's that?
You got the missing person that's in your jurisdiction, and then I guess the Kissimmee's handling the other issue. Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So we're going to continue to remain involved, and that's the semantics of it, of who's investigating. But that's why we're at the Orange County Sheriff's Office today, not the Kissimmee Police Department.
So will he be transported to Kissimmee or
eventually?
Yeah.
Eventually. So initially, he'll be at Orange County, and then eventually he'll go to Osceola.
Is there multiple counts?
Right now, there's only one count.
Okay.
But the investigation's still unfolding, so there could be more.
I don't anticipate him getting out anytime soon. So
no.
What I would ask is that you remain available. I mean, you've been.
Because we're still trying to.
Yeah, I think you understand the gravity of what we're doing. Our first priority, and that's why we've tried to elicit this cooperation from you. Understand there probably going to be some cops at your house down there, some cops at the storage unit. We just ask that you're available for us.
So will I be interacting with Northport PD?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of our guys is going to get a bag, and he's going to drive down there and try to get this all facilitated within the next 24 hours.
Okay.
And Northport, I believe they were going to go talk to your wife and just make sure.
Yeah, I think that was before.
She was there.
Okay.
Well, they were there when I was talking to her. So.
All right.
When you say available, you need me here or just accessible?
Accessible.
Oh,
Be available by phone.
Yeah.
We as far as I know, we don't need you here for anything in Orange County. Obviously, I'm sure Jennifer needs you here, but that's up to you how you want to handle that.
Yeah.
I don't know if she has family locally, but
Jennifer has family locally, so we're trying to. I got to get her back to her car.
Right.
And is she free to go back to the townhouse?
I'm not sure if we're still
shortly. She's not going to have
processing that. Her car is the white Nissan.
Nissan. We have that car now.
Yeah, we have that car.
Now she doesn't have a car, so where's she supposed to spend the night?
Without sounding callous, ideally we'd like to the plan is to release her home back to her. We don't believe we need access to the home right now. I'll get you a definitive answer here shortly. So
she can go back home tonight.
Hopefully.
I'll get you an answer for that here shortly.
Hopefully.
What about the Lincoln that you impounded? What's the status of that?
That's still being processed.
Okay. I just want to give you fair warning that it's the poodle ambulance.
It's the poodle ambulance.
Because we put the dogs in there for when they're coming in season, or they just had a litter of pups, so sometimes they get puke or blood smeared on the seats, and even though you try to clean it up, I said I don't want somebody to get too excited and all of a sudden you pick up,
we've got experts on the case.
Makes a lot of sense.
It's animal blood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before what's that?
Keep us being real quick, and we'll get an answer about the house.
The poodle ambulance. Oh, thank you.
You put these pads down and they still manage to like their rear ends.
Of course.
Leather seats, and you go. Oh.
They're like kids, They just poop and pee and vomit all over the place when you're least suspecting. So.
Well, this has certainly been a change. 24 hours of change. I don't know whether to say I'm flabbergasted or impressed at Stephan's endeavors.
Well,
he was, as far as I knew, he was going to pass out at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
It didn't take me long to crash and burn, and then to find out that he made this round trip to Northport.
Well, I can't imagine what's going through your head right now, and I do sympathize for you and your family. And
I'm pissed that he's done this to us, done this to himself, done this to us and somebody else.
It's not an unreasonable thought, not unreasonable at all.
I had no idea of the issue and what he may be capable of doing here, and it's just like it's a revelation.
Yeah.
I've always told him to respect law enforcement, respect the law, but it appears that he's decided to live a different lifestyle. I mean, one time he got pulled over by the highway patrol. I could hear him yelling at the highway patrol, and
right.
Disrespect.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I said, they'll haul your butt up from Winter Garden to Mount Dora, and that's a long way to go. And I said, you don't want to upset the guy. The guy was very, very professional. Apparently he was driving on maybe a registration issue or something, so I had to go up and get him because they wouldn't let him drive the car. But it's like the old saying, you don't fool with the IRS or the Lone Ranger, and you don't fuck with the highway patrol. They're not nice guys. No. They can be, but they're nice guys.
Oh, they're cranky, they're traffic guys. They're cranky.
Give me a ticket.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of warning tickets from them, so I feel
good. Knock on wood, right?
Yeah. But okay. So you guys are going to arrange to get access to the storage unit?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't need to be involved in
that? We'll take care of that. Truly, my thought right now is if you're available for your family, available for that kind of thing right now, and get some sleep, however hard that may be, and then we'll let you know what needs may arise, if any. So we're trying to facilitate all this, least amount of, this is going to sound, intrusion in your life. So go ahead.
Yeah. What do you mean the bright home? The model home? The model home? 13. No, Luis has been there today, so no. Yeah. Yeah, he's been there all day. And he would have been there very early in the morning, or Luis would have been there around 10 o'clock, and there, he would have noticed that. Okay. Right. Everybody go. Right.
In speaking to our Kissimmee Police Department counterparts, they are not prepared to release the townhome back to her.
Oh.
So I don't have a timeline for that. I imagine they're in communication with her. She may already know that, but they are not releasing the apartment tonight.
Is she still out in the car?
She should be.
She should be.
Oh, she called me earlier and said she's frightened to be out there.
Oh, well, I mean, it's reasonable. I mean, we're good to walk downstairs. This was just kind of a debriefing.
So I'm going to the office tomorrow and spend some time there. Do you need to get together with me anytime tomorrow before I leave town and head back?
If we do, we'll contact you. If you're back in Northport, that's not an issue. We're going to have one of our detectives down there. If we need to liaison with you at some point, we'll make it happen.
Okay.
So,
They give us county cars and county gas, so we can drive.
and they have AC, not like back in the day.
Well, we had 480,
Whatever that means.
4 windows down, 80 miles an hour.
All right. That's how you got the guy going 70 in a Loma.
I had to stop and back up. Not really.
So, Mr. Sterns, we had a long, long conversation, 2 of them. Do you swear everything you told me is true?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
I have nothing to hide.
Very good. Well, we
You seem like a good man.
really do appreciate it. I'm sorry that your son, we're going down this path.
Well, like I said, I questioned my wife last night. I said, do we really know him? And she got pretty pissed at me. But I said,
Well, you're going to have to deal with when she looks at the news here soon. I don't know, it's better to find out, for her to find out by looking at the news, or for you to tell her
well,
first?
we don't get, I mean,
Shouldn't get
I'm sure
Orlando
there'll be some
news,
news
right?
down there. And, my greatest fear is that what we can experience as far as blowback. And I'm a private person, and that really, I'm not going to say it terrifies me, but it worries me that, the media frenzy and what have you, that somebody wants the angle, hey, I've got the hot story today,
Yeah, I mean, and then my partner can probably speak better to it, but I mean, expect that you may have a car or 2 out front of your house, given, that his relationship to Northport, but,
I think your saving grace is that you're not in the Orlando market, right?
right?
You're in the Tampa market, I can only imagine. You're not. Stearns isn't the most common last name, but it's not the most rare last name.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a statewide search. They'd have to do a really good job, I think, to find you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not good at their job, but
Well, I mean, I'm out there in the public. You can just Google me.
yeah.
I'm going to come up because I'm in real estate. So,
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be concerned about that until there's a problem. And if they're out in front of your house, and you can always call Northport and they can advise you. But if they're ever on your property, just tell them to leave.
Yeah.
As far as professional blowback or anything like that, it's tough for everybody to put 2 and 2 together.
Does Jen know that he made this trip this morning?
So we didn't speak to Jen.
I wasn't privy to his interviews,
Jen spoke to the Kissimmee Police Department. So my understanding is she is briefed very well. But that's a conversation you guys could probably have, on the drive back or at some point in the near future.
I just don't see where he had the energy to do this. I mean, unless he was faking it with me at 3 a.m. this morning, I don't know where he got the effing energy. But you're telling me he was down there at 7:45 at Toledo Blade?
Yes.
I mean, 7:45, 3:45. He waited till she got up, went to sleep, and snuck out. Not long after we all said goodnight.
You can't reason. As a reasonable person, you can't understand the unreasonable. There's no way you'd be able to wrap your head around anything that he's accused of doing or that he did. There's no way that any of us would be able to, even with all of our experience in public safety, there's just no way. So.
Wow. I mean, obviously, making a move like that, there's something going on here.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get you out of here, Mr. Sterns, and you can try to get some rest. Yeah.
Where can I throw my trash?
I'll take him down, Evan.
Okay. Wow, this has got so much hair on it now, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Jesus. What is this one?
See, these are the guys that have fallen in line of duty.
Who is this over there?
They had to go back in the record books.
Winter Park?
I think so.
I saw the motorcycle down in the lobby, I guess.
Yeah, that was Callan's. Yeah. He was struck by a reckless driver.
I ran into a guy that was a motorcycle cop out of California, and he did it for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Any accidents? No.
That's incredible.
I mean, how did that happen? I had a Honda 750 back in the 70s, and some old lady ran me off in 1792 into a median. I said, that's it, I'm getting rid of this.
Yeah.
And back then, the population was only 500. Somewhere between 5 and 6. You can't imagine 22, 23 million people on a motorcycle.
Not just that, but everybody's on their phones, everybody's listening to, there's so much more distraction.
All right, so I guess I just wait to hear from you guys. What are these guys still doing? Waiting for the latest. Cultures? Thank you. All right.
Before you go, I can't leave because you guys have impounded my car and my medications are in my car. I need them.
Okay. Where are they at in the car?
Front passenger seat.
Or like they're sitting on the front passenger seat?
I don't know if they're on the seat or on the floor, but they're inside of a plastic bag. I just need the plastic bags. It's got a rainbow clear medication, like a month-long medication box.
Okay.
Separated by days.
Okay.
I need that in order for me to do anything.
Okay.
And then there's a pill bottle in there. Just bring the whole bag of medications.
Let me go see what I can do, okay? I know it's sealed because we're processing it forensically. Is there any other way you can get a hold of this medication?
By going back to my house, but that's also sealed by forensics.
It's also sealed by forensics, yeah. Okay. Let me see what the best avenue is.
I have already...
Go ahead.
Detective Andrews has already gone in there, and I told him I need my meds, but let me see what I could do. So I don't know if you guys would tag team it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll tag team. Yeah. I'll let you know as soon as possible.
You want me to hang tight?
Well, yeah, for the medicine, real quick.
Yeah,
okay.
No
Yeah, so give me 5 minutes. I'll be back in 5.
Yeah.
It's concluding this interview with Mr. Sterns.
There we go. That's better. Because that thing went blow. All right, I'm going to turn my phone. I just had to back up. I may fix a cup of coffee. I'm always thirsty these days. Lucy, we're both on diets. We're taking, she's taking Ozempic, I'm taking Mounjaro, and I've lost nearly 40 pounds.
Wow.
28.
And I'm but I just have to keep hydrated all the time. I'm just always thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for meeting with us this morning.
Our pleasure.
This has been a long few days, long week, and I can imagine what it is for you guys.
Full of lots of surprises.
Yeah.
We're in the 7th ring of hell.
So the reason we made the trip down here today is I know you spoke to Alex, I think.
Yeah, Alex, yeah.
Yeah, with Orange County, and may have spoke to Corporal Ilgen that works with us.
Is he this tall, slim guy?
No,
Was
he's
he at Orange County also?
He was. I think you may have talked to him out in the parking lot in Orange County.
Yeah.
Yeah, bald guy, probably wearing a SWAT shirt.
No, that didn't work. That didn't. There was somebody else I thought was from Kissimmee PD, but and I thought actually you were him, but obviously not.
So
You're better looking he is.
Appreciate it. But since I'm the lead detective and he's my partner in the case, we kind of want to get eyes and talk to everybody that's involved. That's the only reason.
Expecting you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the reason we're here is basically try to get a background of what you know about Stephan and Jennifer's relationship and that sort of thing and stuff like that. So we can do it one of two ways. I can just give you guys the floor and you can let us know what their dynamic was, or I could do it question and answer wise, whatever's more comfortable for you.
Well, if you do it question and answer wise, you'll get the answers that you wanted. If you let us sit here and ramble on for half an hour, you may not get what you want. You still have to ask the question.
Fair enough for me.
We can fill in the gaps.
Yes.
All right. So, any idea how long Stephan and Jen have been in a relationship?
7 years.
7 years.
7 to 8 years, somewhere in there.
Okay. And was it constant throughout those 7 and 8 years, or on and off, or?
They were friends first, close friends first, and then it evolved into a romantic relationship. I think probably the first 18 months was just friendship, and then it changed from there. And no, we did not like the relationship.
Why not?
Didn't approve of her.
No.
Why
She was
is that?
bad influence on it because of her
Drugs.
Well, drugs plus I think she was taking medications for depression, anxiety, what have you, and I just didn't feel that she was going to be a good influence for him.
She's bipolar. She's bisexual. She's a drug addict. She had a young child. The family was disapproving, and she was sharing those drugs with Stephan. And I don't approve of vaping. We don't do any drugs. We don't even drink. I can't even take specified medication for pain because my body rejects them, and I get really, really sick from them. So, I mean, went through open heart surgery on Tylenol.
Wow.
So it's
And they were both.
Nice. She's nice.
They slept all the time.
Yeah.
And you know, we had a hard enough time dealing with Stephan sleeping all the time, and now he's got a relationship with somebody else that does it as well. It's just like they were feeding off of each other, and none of it in a positive way. And that's why I disapprove. I disapproved of a lot of Stephan's
Well, that's the only
people.
thing. Yeah, only thing her mother and I approved of together was the fact that we didn't approve of the relationship, because if Jen started spiraling down one of her holes of depression, she took Stephan with him. If he was depressed, he brought her in, and it was just always like a balancing act with those two. This is not good. It's not a good dynamic.
You know, when you said they were always sleeping, like constantly,
Yeah.
were they taking medicine to go sleeping, or
No.
they were just?
They were just
Well-
they were baked out.
Yeah. Well, Stephan has a sleeping disorder, sleep apnea, and so he's been tested for it, and his he would be up all night and sleep all day.
Okay.
Type of deal. And we really didn't have that much physical interaction with them. These are things that we just observed from a distance, and trying to talk to Stephan at times, but we just really didn't have any social activity with him to speak of.
When Stephan would be here in town, like what would his routine be? Would he just, is he a homebody or?
He locked himself in his room, and we would see him maybe, once in a while, tell him dinner's ready, but he was constantly in his room all the time.
He was painting his little minis for Warhammer.
Yeah,
He spent a lot of time doing that. A lot of time learning the new books as they came out. A lot of time online. He did go play Warhammer with the guys once a week. Tried to get him to go to the beach. Tried to get him to go to church. Tried to get him to go shooting with us.
Did he give an excuse why that he wouldn't want to go?
Feel like it.
Just no motivation.
And he walked around with Jen on the phone on FaceTime all the time. I would be in the kitchen, I would look up and I would see Jen, and she's like, and I'd look at her and her eyes are open. I said, Jen, are you baked? And she says, oh yeah. I'm like,
And this is recently or throughout the years?
That was in the last few weeks, yeah.
Okay.
He wasn't. I brought him back in December because I was supporting him living there, and I didn't know that I was supporting the whole family. Mm-hmm. Again, Stephan's great at omitting information and not being transparent with me. And I just reached a point. I said, I can't afford to have you working for Disney. Mm-hmm. And there's always a deficit in his budget for one reason or another. But somehow he had expensive toys and what have you, and where the money came for that, and even after he arrived here, packages would arrive, and I said, well, I'm not giving him any money. Where the hell is it? Stephan, it's money I saved, and I'm sitting here going, Bohica. You know what Bohica is? It's an acronym. Bend over, here it comes again. Mm-hmm. And, he called me up and said, well, I'm short in funds. Can you, Zell me $150, send him that. But meanwhile, now he's telling me he's got money in savings, which I didn't believe. Mm-hmm. So where the money was coming from, I have no idea. But these packages just kept arriving.
When you would support him, how would you get him money?
I sell it.
Okay.
And I paid him, Juan charged Jen rent, and then in November of 2022, the reason why I know that because I looked it up the other day. I said, how far back have I been paying rent there? But he started charging Stephan rent, even though he was sharing a room with Jen. Mm-hmm. And then they decided that they weren't going to be in a relationship anymore, and he took over a full room, and now I had to pay $600. And so this just kept escalating. He wasn't taking care of his car. I was waiting for that shoe to drop. So finally I said, I can't afford you to live there anymore, and I moved him back here. Mm-hmm. And I thought, we had hoped that the year that he had spent at Disney, that he had matured and was now, accepting responsibility and had a disciplined routine, and that I could bring him back here and help him maybe develop into something with a better career path than working for Disney forever and not getting anywhere, because at $30,000 a year he couldn't support himself if he wanted to live on his own. Right. And that turned out to be a huge disappointment, because he fell right back into his same MO. Locked himself in his room, wouldn't help us around the house, and we were like on eggshells, because when he was here it was always tension because of his sleep disorder, and the dogs obviously are not the quietest things in the world. Right. And they have their routine, we have our routine, so we let them out in the evening and it's chaos with them. We let them out in the morning, it's chaos, but for the most of the time they're at feeding time, they're quiet, Mm-hmm. But again, that would disturb him, and didn't want to cause a flare up with him.
So when it would disturb him with the dogs, was that during the daytime, or was him trying to sleep at night?
Oh, it could be any time.
Oh, okay.
If anybody comes to the door, get a package, a rat farts in the yard, doesn't matter, they hear it.
So if he's sleeping during the day and we're doing our daily routine, there's going to be distraction. If I come in the house, they're going, hey, I'm home. They'd be a lot harder.
Right.
So, but I would just hope that he was soundly sleeping, and that he would just sleep through it. But occasionally you would hear a bark out from him.
Or if he had his headphones on.
Yeah.
So when you said you brought him back in December, do you remember when? First part of December, end of
I'd have
December?
to look up. It'd be early part of December because I was trying to get him out of there. I thought it was the end of November. It could have been at the very end of November or the very first part of December because I didn't want to owe Juan another month's rent. I wanted him out of there.
But did he mention if they were split up at that time or if they were still?
Well, they were supposed to be officially broken up.
Mm-hmm. Did he ever say why they broke up?
They just, I mean, yes and no. I mean, Jen told me as recently as last week she didn't want him as a partner. Mm-hmm. She realized that he was not going to be a good partner, but I assume that they both recognized that they wanted to go their separate ways. And I would say that occurred several months before, because there was one time he mentioned he was socializing with somebody at Disney, and that didn't go over well or something. She didn't like that. So
I told him, we both told him he would never get into a healthy relationship until he got away from her, because what are you going to do? You're renting a room, you're going to bring a new woman into your room with your ex in the next room? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a bad recipe.
Did this ever happen within the last 7 years? Did they break up and get back together and that sort of thing? Or
I don't think so.
I seem to recollect that there might have been a pause in that relationship, maybe to the extent of how involved the relationship was, and maybe it became more social than more of a relationship type of thing. Mm-hmm. But again, clueless as to exactly the extent of how involved the relationship really was. I mean, I always thought it was just good friends and sex with benefit type of thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how committed they were to one another.
And that was going on all the way up until December?
Well, actually, before December, because like I said, when he went into the room on his own, that basically was probably the time that the relationship ended. So,
do you remember when that was? You said November?
Yeah, I'm going to try to. Let's see. He left in December, maybe 3 or 4 months before he pulled out of there. I think I only paid 3 or 4 months at $600, maybe 3 months. I'd have to look it up.
Do you know if when he came back here in December, was he ever making trips back to Kissimmee at all?
There was I think 3 occasions he went back. This last trip, mm-hmm. with when all this stuff happened, a trip before that, and then he went back for Thanksgiving, or he was there for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, so he wasn't invited to the family events, and but he was there at that time.
Okay. I'm assuming just visiting Jen, or was he visiting other people?
He was visiting Jen.
Yeah, I wouldn't know who else he would be associated with at that time.
Okay.
I don't think he had any relationships outside of Jen. Mm-hmm. Maybe I think there was a time or two he mentioned that he was going to go out with some cast members after work.
Mm-hmm. But Bear was one of them.
Yeah, but that's the only time.
Has he ever lived in Kissimmee prior to meeting Jen?
No.
Okay, always here in Northport, or has he lived out elsewhere?
Well, we moved here.
Windermere.
We moved here in May of 2020, so he was always at our home there, or he lived here. And then we finally got him out of here, and there was an opportunity for him to go live in Kissimmee.
Okay. But with Jen is when he went to Kissimmee.
Yeah, not on his own.
They were both supposed to be working at Disney together, but she can't keep a job.
Mm-hmm. Do you know why?
Because of the bipolar.
Well,
she doesn't want to lose her state benefits.
But depending on the type of work, she had back issues or something, mm-hmm. so she couldn't do physical things. And now she did have a job as a concierge that didn't require any pressure or stress on her back or something. Mm-hmm. But there was always something that prevented her from working. Couldn't do dog sitting or whatever job it was. It would last no more than 2 weeks, and then she'd be back.
She was going to go to school for nursing, and I'm thinking, oh my God, save the world.
Well, then she was going to get into graphic design.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dad bought her an Apple computer thinking she was going to take these classes or online, and that didn't last long either.
And you're hearing this from
her,
Stephan? Oh, from both of them.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah. And everything that we're basically telling you is a lot of it's hearsay from what we were told. We didn't physically observe this, mm-hmm. any of this stuff. Very, very little interaction with them And then when they were here, you know, they were either in Stephan's room. Maddie always slept with Debbie, but and Maddie floated around here, played with the dogs, did things that little girls do with Debbie.
We did some arts and crafts together.
You were teaching her knitting?
Crocheting.
Crocheting, yeah.
So that was going to be my next question. So Jen and Maddie and Stephan came here to visit at some point, or a few times maybe.
Yeah. Well, if he was here, living here, she would actually come down.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, very few trips. The last trip we saw them was we didn't see them, I think we saw them early 2023 and then maybe for Thanksgiving 2022.
Okay. And then when they were here, you said Stephan and Jen would sleep in or would hang out in Stephan's room, and then Maddie would sleep with you, or be with you? Okay. Why is that? Do you know?
Number one, he's a slob. Number two, he only has a queen-size bed.
Okay.
And number three, I didn't think it was a healthy environment. They were going to have her sleeping on the floor, on a sleeping bag. And I said, I have a king-size bed. I sleep on 36 inches of it. There's a whole side of a bed. Why can't she be comfortable? So I just insisted that she come in with me, and I had the dogs with me. So if she got up, what Jen used to tell me was, you know, she would wake up in the middle of the night. She'd come and climb in bed with them. I said, well, you're going to have the dogs here. If you get out of bed, you're going to rouse the dogs up.
I got you. Did they ever talk about their sleeping arrangements at their house in Kissimmee?
Just what I just told you. That if she had a bad dream or something, she would come in. And I told her, as Maddie got older, because we've known Maddie for 7 years, we watched her grow up. I mean, this is very hard. But she, cute, sweet girl, she was. But then she started, in the last year, she started showing signs of bipolar as well. And Jen was horrified by that. They were butting heads like two rams. They were fighting all the time. And they're presenting a very different family dynamic than what they told us was going on.
And you witnessed them butting heads, or?
No, I would be on the phone with Stephan. I would hear them going at each other in the background. That's, you know, and I would say, what's going on? Well, Maddie and Jenny are at it again, you know, and I gotta go break this up. So he would go be the peacekeeper. But I just put that down to puberty. She went to puberty. She started puberty at 11.
Right.
It's hormones in the meat, but anyhow, she developed quickly, became pretty precocious, and other than that, I don't think she had a lot of friends at school. I don't think that she was a very social person. She had been, if you remember, Stephan and Jen both told us that after she began developing physically, that there were some boys at school last year that would push her up against the wall and grab a feel and bully her. And they were having a hard time with the school getting it stopped.
But anyway, when they visited here, she was either out here or they were watching movies together. But when it came to sleeping time, she was definitely in Deb's room.
Okay. Any time where either Jen and Maddie would be sleeping in that room without Stephan, or?
No.
Okay, so the only person that would separate from them would be Maddie when she was sleeping with you.
And like I say, she was always floating around because, you know, she was bored looking for something
And
to do.
before that, as you see the holes, we had a TV there, and we didn't have one in my room that was big, very big, but we moved that one. So I would sit out here with Maddie when they were in there, and we'd watch TV together too. We even got the Disney Channel for her, so she'd have it.
Do you know if Maddie or Jen, when they were sleeping here, did they take medicine at night or anything like that you know of?
No,
Or did Stephan take any? Has he been prescribed any medication?
he has been prescribed an anti-anxiety medication and a ADHD medication. He's got Adderall and something, clomidine, for sleeping. I don't know what the first part of it is, but
Really didn't know his medical routines at all, hers or Jen's, other than the fact that
she was always changing medications.
she was, I think, taking medication for depressant and
Bipolar.
anxiety and bipolar. But I don't know anything beyond that.
she had a prescription for medical marijuana.
Medical marijuana.
And so she vaped all the time, and she shared it with Stephan. I wouldn't allow it in my house. I don't like the smell of it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you're going to do that, you have to be outside. You just can't bring it in here.
Now, after Stephan moved back here in December and he made the trips back to Kissimmee, would he drive the silver car? Your
No, that's
car?
the first time he ever drove
No,
that silver.
no. He drove the silver car
Oh, that's
because
right.
his car was in dire need of servicing. So I said, last thing I wanted to do is go 2 hours north and be stranded, and now I'm dealing with a disabled car.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that car was up in maintenance, so I let him drive that car.
What's wrong with his car?
It's 1,000 miles over service. The brake jobs need to be done. He hasn't taken care of that car at all. It's probably going to need about $2,000 to $3,000 worth of repair on it. I'm sure if I take it in, I'm sure it's going to be $2,000 to $3,000. AC was been acting up on it, but I didn't trust it for long trips. If he was just if he was in Kissimmee commuting to Disney, that's one thing, but not long trips.
Right.
Matter of fact, I had him tow it down here, not drive it down.
Got it. So, is it safe to say this last time he came, and then maybe Thanksgiving or Christmas is when he took the silver car, or Thanksgiving?
So this last time, then he made it. When he came down here, he made a trip. When he first got down here, he made another trip back to get more stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was one trip, and then there was a trip in between. I guess he went up for Christmas because I think he was here for Thanksgiving. And then there was this most recent trip. So as far as I know, I think it was his 3 trips.
Now, when he would come back from there, would he have like loads of stuff? Like, I don't want to say furniture because there wasn't furniture.
It would just be leftover stuff that, for whatever reason, he had a 10-foot truck,
Mm-hmm.
and just the front end of it and all of it, the back was available.
So he rented a moving truck to grab.
I rented it.
Oh, okay.
It was more truck than he needed, and why he didn't get everything he had was ridiculous, because it basically Dane came down to his typical modus operandi. He waited till the last minute, and then didn't have enough time to put stuff up there or whatever, but he didn't bring everything back with him.
Got it. Did he say why he didn't grab his stuff?
He didn't have to. Well, basically, if he did, it wasn't enough. He didn't have enough time. He's like, bullshit. He had weeks to plan for this. I kept on him about that. He's completely opposite me. I start to organize stuff and get stuff done, not wait till the last minute, but he waited until the last minute. Very frustrating.
How long was he in Kissimmee when he made these trips?
Well, he stayed up there. If he went up there, he was up there for the day. Maybe he stayed up there a day or 2.
Okay.
Usually. 2 nights, 3
no
days.
rush to get back. No urgency to come back.
This last time he went up here, or to Kissimmee, did he say why he was going to Kissimmee?
Her birthday.
Her birthday. Okay. Did he say he was invited to a party or anything like that, or?
I think he
Maddie
was
called
asked
and asked him to please come.
And you heard Maddie call? Okay.
Yes.
And do you remember when that was? Because I know she had a party on Sunday. Do you know
Was
when?
it Saturday?
I guess.
Or was it?
To make sure he was coming.
Something odd on Saturday. I don't know if was the invite on Saturday? Or did he just say Sunday, I'm going to Kissimmee?
No, I knew the week before because I found the gifts for Maddie.
Okay. He seemed to be very upset. Matter of fact, he came to me and said, "Do you have any anxiety medication?" I go, "No, sorry, don't have anything like that. Everything I have is for diabetes or heart." And then he went to Debbie and said, "I don't have any." And then he came back and said, "Well, I found some 4-year-old stuff." I said, "Oh, okay." But he was suffering from high anxiety, man. I don't know what he was stressed out about.
When was this?
Sometime in the evening. I don't know.
Oh, Saturday or
Saturday.
days prior to that?
Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he's making, and then I guess the medication worked, and again he looked like he was like very stressed out.
Have you ever seen him like that before?
Yes, when he was very stressed out. And it was like, better tiptoe, not sure if he's going to blow up or not. You know, he seemed like he was calm enough, but, you know, I didn't know if anything could trigger him or not.
Did it seem like he was more in fear of something or scared of something, or just...
you know, it was a different, other than, you know, being really upset about something, it looked like he was stressed out over something. Obviously, he never shared any of his feelings with us. And I had no idea it was stressing him out, but something really had him upset.
Angry upset, or just not that type of upset?
Not angry upset, but just something worrisome. Just seemed like there was something that was really preying on him, and it was not settling well with him.
And that's when he told you guys he was going to Kissimmee, or did he tell Mom prior to that?
Well, he was making plans to go to Kissimmee, and and I don't know exactly when this happened, whether he told me on Saturday, but I knew he was leaving Sunday because we talked about the expense of that trip, and he said, well, Jen's going to pay for the trip, because I was done paying for this stuff. And he said, well, Jen's going to pay for it. You know, I said, well, go down and fill up the car, and I'll take care of that. That would be enough gas for him to get up and get back, because that's all he was going to do. And so I'm assuming that the plans were submitted on Saturday, but you're telling me that you knew about it a week in advance, and maybe he started planning that a week in advance, but I wasn't aware of it until the last minute.
But he didn't have this fearful reaction earlier that week. It was just that Saturday.
Yeah.
Did he say how long he planned on staying in Kissimmee?
A week.
A week.
Yeah. I was planning we were planning on him to be gone for a week, because we were welcoming the break.
Got it.
What did you buy her as a gift? You said you got her a gift?
I had ordered something, and they looked marvelous, but then I got it, and I think, this is really probably too juvenile for me to wear. It's called Mermaid's Beads, and it's made out of sea glass, and it was a dual color bracelet, and they had the stud earrings and the same thing, and they were kind of opalescent. So they're really neat. It's by No Goo, and it's mermaid tears. But I said, you know, these are still in the box. I've never even worn them. I said, why spend money on something? This is something she would really like, because I knew her enough to know this was something right up her alley. And I said, you know, this is $90 worth of a gift, you know, that's just going to sit where it could be doing good someplace, somebody could enjoy it. So just gave him the boxes and said, are you going to gift wrap them? He said, no, I'll just take them like this. So.
How did you guys come to hear about everything that happened on Monday?
So I tried reaching Stephan. He called me when he got to Kissimmee Sunday.
Any idea when he called you?
I know exactly, because I wrote out the timeline this morning.
Okay.
6:48 p.m.
Okay.
But then I noticed on some pass that he was out around 8:30, 8:48, and there were two some pass tolls. And I said, well, maybe they had gone out or something. But I said, okay, that's a little weird. So that I tried to get a hold of him several times Monday morning, or maybe noonish or so, maybe as late as 2:30ish or something, and then I get a call from him at 3:17, and his voice sounded a little off to me. I thought, well, maybe he was just, tired, and maybe he didn't get a good night's sleep or what have you. And then during that conversation, he says, oh, by the way, I had a flat tire. Radar goes up. I go, what do you mean you had a flat tire? Where could you have gotten a flat tire? Now, I'm not going to say you can't pick up a flat tire anywhere, but he's just driving from here to the apartment and shouldn't be driving anywhere else, per se. Oh, I just got a flat tire. Okay, where? 192. And then he described the fact that the tire was so flat that he ran the rubber off the wheel. Okay, 192, plenty of places to pull over, and you're driving the rubber off the wheel? So then he described that he was changing the tire and that didn't have it set right, and the jack collapsed somewhat and trapped his thumb between the frame and the jack and did hurt himself severely. And I think the conversation lasted about 3 minutes. And I said, well, let's get the car into a tire place and see what's going to cost to repair it. And I'm sitting there counting. It's going to cost me several $100s for this now. And then that was it. And then 4:54. I'm just getting out of the car, meeting a customer. I'm going to take him into a house, and he calls, and he says, "I'm en route to Maddie's grandmother. There's been an occurrence." I said, "Well, that's a strange word to use, but okay." And then I'm thinking, "Well, this is weird. 2 events in one afternoon: the flat tire, and now this." And so he said, "Well, I took Maddie to school this morning, and I dropped her off just down from the school because Maddie didn't want to be seen dropped off in front of the school because I'm not driving a cool enough car." I said, "Okay, well, understand that. Teenager, peer pressure, what have you." And he said, I watched her walk towards the school out of the rearview mirror as I pulled away. And so then he goes on to describe that she wasn't, it's been reported that she wasn't at school. We went to pick her up, and she wasn't there. Then we come to find out she hadn't been at school all day. And then he starts to describe that the area is a high abduction area. Kids are stolen for abducted, kidnapped for sex trafficking, and that there's a good chance that she's been abducted. You know, the typical questions. Well, what have you done to try to locate her? Have you contacted her old friends, social media? Where's her phone? Oh, she left her phone at home. Oh, okay. Yeah, she does that from time to time. And it was a 3-minute conversation, and he was sobbing. He was really sounded upset that he was holding himself responsible for this. Same routine that he did in that Tuesday interview. I think he was rehearsing it on me. And it was exactly the same routine, same explanation, the whole deal. And so then I kept in touch with them throughout the evening because they were waiting for police to show up, and it was hours, and I just kept checking in, any news, and then that was it until Tuesday, and then I didn't talk to him again until Tuesday. Maybe it was the afternoon, and again, just trying to get an update, what's going on. And then as the day expanded, then police were now more involved, and there's interaction between, I guess, your department and the two of them.
Backtracking to Monday, so you talked to him, you said you tried calling him. When you tried calling him, did it call go right to voicemail, or did it ring a few times?
Combination of all of that. I mean, let me get my notepad.
And by the way, Jim had mentioned several times that Maddie was going through a phase where she didn't want to look uncool, and that it had become their routine to drop her off 1 block from school and pick her up 1 block from school.
And she told you this?
Yes. And never said anything about it being a high traffic area or anything like that. She just said, it's a straight shot. We can see the school. There's an overpass. We make sure nobody's in the overpass, hanging out. And so we just watch. And then Stephan said he took her by himself. And then in the interview, Jen said, we dropped him off. She said it several times. And so I don't know if, do you want any conjecture or no? The conjecture is that she and Maddie are the same size. That she wore Maddie's clothes with the hoodie up to cover the dark hair instead of the light hair. And that was Jen we saw sitting at the church in the picture. because obviously, from what we've heard, Maddie was already gone by that time. So this elaborate charade put on for everybody's benefit. And she's cool, calm, and collected, and he's a sobbing, wet mess.
So my call to him at 2:25 was 2 seconds, so no connection.
Gotcha.
And then he called me at 3:17, and that conversation lasted 3 minutes.
And you said he was upset at that time, or he seemed?
No, he seemed off, and I said, well, maybe, the anxiety medications or what have you was keeping him somewhat kind of flat, monotone in a way. Nothing upbeat about it. And then, matter of factly, I had a flat tire. We talked about that, and then.
Did he plan on taking the car to a tire shop? Did you guys confirm that plan? Or?
I told him to. I said, he's driving on a donut. And we both confirmed that, the donut wouldn't last long, and that, he needed to get that quickly replaced. And I expected him to do it. I didn't expect for him to do it that day, because that's not Stephan's modus operandi. I expected him to do it the next day. So then I didn't hear from him until he called me at 4:54. And that conversation lasted 3 minutes. And as I said, I heard this story about him dropping her off at school and the whole abduction thing, and I heard that even more later in the evening. But I thought to myself, how strange these two events happened and within a short time of one another that afternoon.
Did you question him about it or no?
No, I didn't think about it. When the call came in, he starts telling me that this is just a thought I had. It's kind of strange that coincidence that there were two incidents like that in that afternoon.
Okay. So moving on, you spoke to him around 4-ish, and that's when he said Maddie's gone missing.
Yeah, more close to 5.
Okay. And then you didn't speak to him again until the following day, is that
No,
correct?
I talked to him for 7 minutes at 6:02.
Okay.
6:02, and then again for 5 minutes at 6:22.
And is that just to get updates, or what's the conversation you're having?
Well, it was me he called me at 6:02, and again, just briefing me, letting me know what's going on. There was an out call at 2 minutes at 6:18, and then another one at 6:22 for 5 minutes, and both of those I was making the calls. And then nothing again until Tuesday at 12:16, 3 seconds there, and then out at 6:32, 1 minute. I'm not even sure if we had even a conversation. So that was, and then after that, no more calls from his phone. Now Jen's calling me on her phone.
Okay. Did they tell you why?
There was a conversation about whether the police wanted his phone and whether he should give it to him. And I said, do you have any reason not to? And he said, no. And I said, then give me your phone. Let's get this cleared up. What really upset me was in one of the conversations I had with him when it became apparent that he was going to be a person of interest. I said, well, you had your phone. You can document where you've been. Well, I left my phone at home. Okay. Let's backtrack. Were you anywhere that a camera could have caught you? Where'd you go? And it didn't sound like he went anywhere that a camera could track him. So I said, well,
The vape store.
well, I understand that, but I'm not sure, where a camera would have been. But, thinking he was innocent, trying to help, pinpoint where he was so he could document his whereabouts, because of my understanding, there was a 2-hour gap between when he supposedly dropped her off.
Stop.
And then when he returned home, because he said he called Jen at 10:17. And in fact, my understanding why he called Jen at 10:17 was to get back into the community because she had to call him in. He didn't have his clicker.
Okay. Is he tech savvy?
My impression, no, but I'm hearing, hearsay from other people that he may have been. But when he told me that he was doing a OS update on his phone and it accidentally wiped out his phone, I cried bullshit. You know, but you know, there's always that one off. It could be, you know, but when he starts saying, "Well, yeah, I accidentally pressed the button to reset," then I knew it was bullshit. That's not in the process of an OS update. You just say, yes, go ahead and do it, and you leave it alone, and it updates it and lets you know that your phone's been updated. End of story. None of this other bullshit.
Do you pay for his phone, or does he pay for it?
I pay for it.
Did you want this coffee?
Yeah, would you put some cream in it? Blonde like you know, and duke it in the microwave for 38 seconds.
How did you get to Kissimmee? Like, what made you go to Kissimmee?
Okay, so I got a call. I got a call at 9:30, and then I think that's when that discussion took place about whether to give this phone to the police or not. I said, "You haven't got any issue with it? Give him the phone. Give him the phone." And then I got a call. And then I went to bed. I was 10-ish something. I'm all tucked into bed. I got the boys with me. And I may have been partially asleep because I had my phone on silent. And then I woke up because the phone was vibrating. And then my watch would have been in the office. So the phone was vibrating. By the time I got it, there was no connect. So then that was at 10:42. And then I made an out call at 10:43. And then the conversation was about, you need to come up here.
And who says that?
They both did because they were on speaker.
Okay.
And Stephan said, "Hey, you need to come up here." And I said, "Okay." I said, you know, so we discussed, you know, they were being kicked out. They didn't have a place to stay. So I said, well, we need to figure out where to go for, where to stay and what have you. And so I'm jumping in the shower, packing a bag, talking to Deb, you know, making plans to leave, which I did it just after midnight. I tried to make a call to them at 11:56. It went to voicemail, and then I called her back at, now we're into Wednesday, so I called her back at 12 to let them know I was on my way. And then I also called my wife because when I left, the front door, if you notice, has an electronic keypad on it. That's why I think a drink.
No. Okay. Thank you.
It wasn't working, and it's been it's electronic, and it's batteries in there since the day we moved here, so 4 years old. So when I tried to lock it, it's not flashing or anything. I did get it to lock, but I wanted her to know that, hey, if you go out, you're going to have to come back in through the garage door, and the only way to do that if you had a clicker in your remote in your visor, but you weren't going to be able to get in through the front door. And then I got a call from them at 1:18, lasted for 2 minutes, and then at 1:51, 50 seconds, because I arrived at the hotel.
What were the conversation at the 118 area? What was that conversation about?
Just confirmation of where they were and where we were staying and the address of the hotel, because it was out off of west of Disney off the 429.
And from what I understand, did you pay for the hotel or did they pay for it?
They paid for theirs, and I paid for mine, but then it said a pet-friendly hotel, pet-friendly if you pay $150 for the night. Okay, so, all right, so I paid for the dog to stay.
Okay, their dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I actually reimbursed her for it.
All right, and when you got to the hotel, you had conversations with Jen and Stephan?
Yeah, we were just greeting, you know, gave Stephan a hug and, you know, chit-chatted for a few minutes. I was busy checking in because they had already completed their check-in. They went up to their room. They were on the opposite end of me, but we were on the same floor. I went out to the car, you know, park my car, get my stuff and bring it in and go to my room. And then I went to their room, spent about 10 minutes with them, no more than 15, and then I was heading back to my room to go to bed.
What were the conversations when you were in their room?
I don't really recall. It was just, yeah, everybody settled in, everybody okay. You know, we'll just meet in the morning and you know, see what unfolds at that time. I'm sure there was going to be some more interviews or what have you. I planned to go to the office. Our corporate office is in Orlando, so I planned to go. So I was up 6:30, 7ish or so. 6:30. Then I left the hotel around 7:30 to go to the office.
Okay. When you left to go to the office, was Stephen and Jen still there?
As far as I know, I don't know. I come to find out later when I got a phone call from Jen around 10 o'clock, 9:48 or so, I think it was. 9:49, she called me. It lasted for about a minute to ask me if Stephan was with me. I go, no. Well, he's not here. How long has he been gone? Maybe 25 minutes. I said, okay, well, all right, maybe he's out running around, whatever. So then I get a call from her about at 10:17. Don't recall what that conversation was about. Then there was another call, 10:47, and I think, matter of fact, I try to recall what time we talked about his not being there, and then I called back and said, I told her, I said, go down to the lobby. If he was gone for 25 minutes, go down to the lobby. Maybe he's down there. Seemed logical. And then after I hung up, I called her back and said, are your car keys there? And she said, no. I said, okay, interesting. So then I get a call back from her later and saying that the detective had called and said they were going to come over within the hour to visit with them. And I said, okay, I'm on my way. So I left the office and drove over there and thinking, well, he's going to be in a world of hurt if he's not there when they come back because they'll probably put a bolo out on him and then just decide to arrest him because he's wandering around. What's he doing? So
when you got back, was he there?
No, he didn't show up for another 15 or 20 minutes. Okay. And then do you know if Jen's car has a GPS in it? Nav system?
It does, yes.
Okay, well, that's part of his lie. So, he came back in and said, well, I got lost in the back roads of Disney, no GPS and what have you. And I didn't think about this till later. I thought, wait a minute, Jen's got a newer car. Most of them have a GPS system in it. So because he didn't have a phone, and obviously he didn't have hers, he was trying to wind his way back to the hotel, but couldn't because he didn't have a GPS, when in fact he did have a GPS.
Now, there was talks of that he may have came here that morning.
Well, so when I finally got in to see Alex Wednesday evening, he said, what exit do you get off at when you come back to Northport? Tested my exit numbers, and I said, I think it's 179, Toledo Blade. And he said, did you know that Stephan was in Northport at 7:45 that morning? I said, really? No, I didn't. Then I later learned it was really 6:30ish, which meant that, and I had my timeline all screwed up. I thought they departed their room at 3:30 when in fact it was more like 2:30. So I was thinking, gosh, I just went to bed, and then he turned around and got out of there and went down to Northport. But when I learned about that, I couldn't imagine why. And then Alex is telling me, well, we have information that he went to your storage unit. So that led us down a rat hole, and then I found out that was completely wrong. That access storage facility had been accessed for 2 weeks. And that was me going to put the lock back on that I had incorrectly relocked my unit 2 weeks ago, now almost 3 weeks ago. So that was wrong. The time of his entering Northport was wrong. It was really an hour earlier, hour and 15 minutes earlier, and he never went access the storage unit. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, he must have been really disappointed if he was coming to this house because he couldn't get in the front door, and that door was locked, and he knew that if he came in, chances are he would put the dogs on high alert and set them off, which would have got her up. And I asked her, I said, what would you have done if Stephan was standing in the middle of the house and you weren't expecting him? It's like, what are you doing here? And God knows what would have taken place at that point and why he was here.
Dad? Why are you here?
Why did I go to Orlando? Because I can tell you the amount of time I spent with him aggregately. 3 occasions was a total of 35 minutes. It's the amount of time that I had spent with him. Because when he got back to that hotel room, the both of them went back to bed and they slept. And there was no waking the dead. And up until 2 o'clock, I'm trying to get him to eat something. Jen and I went down and had some lunch, but I have no idea why he was here, other than to get in the house to get something, maybe try to steal some money from me, maybe steal something of value to sell it, what have you. I have no idea.
So when you on Tuesday when he eventually made it back to the hotel, you're saying you and Jen went to go eat, but Stephan didn't want to go?
No, you couldn't wake him up. He was out of it, dead to the world.
Okay. Now, I was told by Northport PD when they came and talked to, I'm assuming you, one night, that you may have mentioned the dogs barking sometime throughout the night.
They went on high alert and I looked at my watch because I was in here alone. 3:19 in the morning. I had all 5 of them sleeping with me since he wasn't here to sleep with the boys. They all went from dead asleep to springing up in the air and standing on all 4 feet, all of them looking at my window and giving the war bark. That's not a war bark. That's a wolf.
Yeah.
When they do it, it's a sound that will make your skin
wake to death.
Goosebumps. And I didn't have the gun in my room. I don't usually I don't usually keep it in there. I had to come and look for a flashlight. I let all the dogs out here. And then I did not unlock the security lock on the door. I just took the flashlight and went like this to see if there was a critter in the yard. We have bobcats, we have all kinds of stuff out here. So, didn't see anything in the yard. Didn't see anything out the front. Went and looked through the office window. Didn't see anything out there. So, didn't see a car. I thought, okay, well, we must have had a critter, and I just missed it. You know, they dig holes and come under the fence and drive the dogs nuts. Rabbits especially. We had one last night.
And you're saying that your code to the storage facility was not used on that Tuesday?
No, the storage unit, Northport Police told me was, they misread it, but they said the last access, because I didn't think Stephan had my access code unless when we were there in December he decided to memorize it. And I keep it in my contacts because obviously I don't use it that often. I'm not going to commit to memory, but I was there 2 weeks ago because they called me up and said, hey, we're doing an audit. We got an audit that's going to happen, and we check all the units, and you didn't lock your unit properly. So it's a slided over, bolted, and then it's got 2 holes. You drop your padlock in there and lock it. Well, apparently I locked it on the outside. I didn't think I did, but anyway, I must have. So I went over there the next day and properly locked it. So
any reason why he would come here? Does he have any other friends or close people that he would?
Well, I mean, he has a limited number of friends. I don't know. Maybe he was going to hook up with one of them. Frank being one of them. It's the one I know that he's
played Warhammer.
Is closely associated with, and when he goes out, it's with him. And we haven't heard of anybody else that he's socializing with. So I'm assuming he would have gone out with Frank, but. Other than just gaining access to this house, and there's no way he would have broken in here because impact windows not going to do that, and the front door not working, so he would screw blue tattoo. I checked the car, after the Northport police left to see if there was any marks on the door to see if he had tried to pry the car open, but nope, I didn't see any marks on it. So I guess he was here for an hour and 15 minutes or so before he had to make tracks to get back to Orlando, but. Have no idea what he did for that amount of time. Maybe he came down here thinking he would throw the police off. If they obviously found a way to track him or something, maybe they said, well, he disposed of the body or disposed of something down here, but have no idea. Other than just coming here and stealing something from us.
You don't know if he has his own credit cards or anything like that, do you?
He has one maybe 2 credit cards at best that are his, and nothing else.
Okay.
I don't think he may have. I gave him access to a second Chase account that I set up for him, but it hasn't been used for whatever time. So if he has that, it doesn't have any money in the account. So other than that, that's the only thing I would know he had. I gave him. He would have use of the gas card, but I made him fill it up and give me the card back, so he didn't have use of that.
Okay. What banks does he have? Chase and
well, he has a second account that I set up, but he has his own account with Disney partners.
Credit union or something.
Okay.
Yeah. But we don't have any access to that, so I don't know what he's got in there, what he does.
Have you looked to see if there was any phone activity on your account that you pay for anytime during that Monday, Tuesday area?
I didn't look at his account. To answer your question, no. But then on Wednesday, since he didn't have his phone, I had a spare phone that I use for business, which I think you guys have, iPhone mini, and I said, here, use this until you get your phone back. Again, thinking everything's innocent and what have you. And so I gave that to him around 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon and said, use this. And then we went downstairs and met with the detectives, and then they were escorted away. And then the last time I saw the phone, other than him calling me to tell me that the detective said when they pull into the Orange County Operations Center, they're going to go straight back. And I go, oh, okay. And I'm to go to the left and park out in front of the main building. We're going there for the press conference. And then I get there, and then I'm expecting to meet up with Jen and Stephan to go up to the press conference. And then when trying to reach them, Stephan's phone is dead at this point. It's turned off. Finally, Jen responds to me, and they said they're making arrangements. Go inside, you'll get a pass. They'll take you upstairs to the press conference. So by the time I got up there, it was over, and now I'm just trying to, where is everybody? But the only call that came in, because I wiped out everything that I could think of to wipe out, because if he's going to have access to that phone, like I've got my contacts in there where I put all my passwords and username and passwords. I know that's stored in passwords, but I want quick access to it or something, whatever, relevant information. What are you going to do?
No,
just
stay.
Yeah,
Stay.
just tell me quiet. So, and then anything else that would have been confidential that I didn't want to have access to, I deleted off of there. Because again, I only expected them to use it for a short time, because the police said in the lobby, hey, we're going to give your phone back, we're going to give your car back. Well, I knew what that was about. They're going to escort him without handcuffing and what have you. They wanted him to be comfortable and what have you. So I didn't expect to lose my iPhone as a result of that.
Which you should be able to get that iPhone back, but I'll double check and let you know.
Well, I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Because I asked Alec about it. He said, well, it's being transferred to Kissimmee. And I said, well, this is going to be a slow process. So anyway.
No, we should be able to get you the iPhone back.
Yeah.
His other phone, no.
Oh, no. I expect that, no.
What about the car?
The card, no.
No, yeah, we already know that. Yeah, I've already kissed that goodbye.
Okay.
We use that as a poodle ambulance.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
The silver card, because the dogs go to the vet, or if they have some surgeries, or the puppies or what have you. The back seat, could be smeared with puke, blood, and what else? But we call it the poodle ambulance.
When you gave Stephen this car to go to Kissimmee, clean inside?
No. It's the poodle ambulance. We're not going to have that car detailed. And then if he's using it, and of course Debbie had a bunch of her stuff in it, but no, that car was not clean.
Okay.
And I said, well, if forensics is going to go over that, I mean, I tried to tell somebody, I said, it's a poodle ambulance. There's going to be some leftover puke and blood or what have you that we weren't able to get out of the seats because they're perforated. So I hope somebody doesn't get too excited when they hit on something, but it's animal blood as far as I knew.
Okay. Have you talked to Stephen since he's been arrested?
No. We tried to set up a video visitation yesterday. It said we were confirmed. My iPad, my iPhone crashed a couple of times when I was trying to get on, and then finally got it.
Solar flares yesterday.
What?
They said we had 3 solar flares yesterday. Facebook went offline, and a lot of Verizon went off, and some other. And I thought, well, maybe that's what kicked us off yesterday.
But when I finally got on it, he wasn't there. So I kind of expected that could have happened, because again, they give you a warning that said, if he's not available, he's not going to be available and won't be there. But I figured since I had confirmation, but I haven't had any conversation whatsoever.
Have you talked with Jen since he's been arrested?
The last conversation, a text I had from her was when I asked her if she had gotten access back into the townhome, because if there was anything that Stephan had there, like supposedly he had his gun there, I wanted to get it out of there and away from harm and bring it back here where somebody else couldn't do anything with it. And I was making arrangements to do that, and she said yes, and then I didn't hear back from her after that, so she's gone dark on us.
Okay.
Has she lawyered up?
No.
Oh, well, she's avoiding me for whatever reason, because up until that point.
Well, we have her phone.
Oh, you have her phone. Oh, okay.
So that may be one of the reasons that she's.
Well, if I'm sending you love notes, I'll be teasing. If I'm sending you messages, now I know why it's not going to answer. Because the last thing I got from her was, yes, she did, and then I sent her another message afterwards, trying to get some more information, and again, trying to make arrangements to get the gun out of there. Do you guys have the gun, or is this?
Yeah, we have it.
Oh, okay, all right. At least it's in safe hands. What?
I'm sorry.
I said we'll never see that again either.
No, yeah, you definitely will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I'm just concerned that it's in safe hands. That's the only thing I was concerned about. I didn't want, because they have roommates there. I don't know who these people are, and somebody could take that, and I didn't want that to happen.
Have they ever talked about their roommates at all?
No.
No, we don't
even
know
know if there's sex. We don't even know if it's guys or girls.
Yeah.
Now, did Jen ever talk to you about Sunday night after the party?
Regarding what?
Regarding the fact that there was probably drinking with the adults at the party, that she and Stephan would definitely have been vaping, that her meds were not working, and Sunday night when she went to bed with Maddie and Stephan was in Maddie's room to sleep, that she woke up with a headache, and she told Maddie, and she told us, she told Maddie to go sleep with Stephan in her room. And
in her room or his room?
And when
his room.
Okay.
He was sleeping in Maddie's room, and she sent him. She specifically said, because she told her, she says, I told her to go sleep with Stephan. And I was like the antenna popped up, and I said, what a stupid thing to do. Why would you do that? You've got plenty of room on your bed. Why would you send Maddie in there to go on a single bed with Stephan? It didn't make sense to me.
Do you know if they've ever talked about that in the past, that they would allow Maddie and Stephan to sleep in the same room together, or the three of them sleep in the same bed?
Heard of that. That was the first time I'd heard of that. But when she started talking about Maddie coming and sleeping with them at night, climbing in bed with them at night, and then Maddie told me, that's the word she told me, she says, yeah, I was sleeping with Mom and Dad, and I rolled over, and I ended up with my leg over Stephan's leg, and she giggled about it, and I was like going, that was the second time. I said, and I told Jen, I said, listen, she's getting too old to do this. She's too old to share a bed with you. Don't do it anymore. I said, if you have to lock your bedroom door so she can't come in when you guys are asleep, then you need to do that. I said, I can understand a toddler. I can understand it up to about 5 years old. But after that, I mean, this is ridiculous. So I was very upset about that, and that's one of the other reasons we wanted him home. I just wanted him out of that environment.
I want to go back to the medication that Stephan. So Stephan on Saturday asked you if you had any of medicine to calm his anxiety.
Right.
Did he have prescription medication that just wasn't filled, or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he didn't have any medicine to take to Kissimmee?
No, not that we're aware of. And one of the things I was pressing hard with Stephan when he left Disney, I said, talk to Human Resources to get your insurance coverage after you leave, because you need it for prescriptions. And so up until 2 weeks ago, I'm assuming he had enough medication to get him through, but he needed some medication, so we're trying to get him back on insurance, which I did. And then there was a waiting period of a few days that we were supposed to call in and then arrange to get his prescription filled. He contacted the doctor, supposedly, because I told him to, and there would have been a prescription waiting for him, but it never got filled.
Gotcha. Okay.
When did he start taking prescription medication? Do you remember?
He started taking Adderall when he was a child. I mean, he has a TBI, and so he was on an IEP through school, individual education program. He went to special classes. He was hit by a truck when he was 8, hit in the back of the head with the bumper, run over his torso, and then the guy heard everybody screaming, put the car drive and drove back over him, got him in the front of the head. And then, so he...
Well, how long has he been seeing the psychiatrist, psychologist?
Counselor there?
Yeah, counselor.
About 4 years.
So she was prescribing medications for him at least 4 or 5 years ago, whenever he started going to counseling.
So when you last saw him on Saturday and he's having this episode, the next time you see him is Tuesday night, going into Wednesday?
Wednesday morning, 2:15.
Early in the morning.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Change in his demeanor, I'm assuming, was different?
Just very stoic, you know. Mm-hmm. No emotions. Again, I'm attributing to maybe medication he's taking and the fact that...
Where would he get that medication? From Jen, if he was going to take it?
Yeah, in fact, Jen said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I have some meds here he could use."
Mm-hmm. And then the fact that we're now looking at early Wednesday morning, now going back to 5 o'clock, well, actually even sooner than that, since he knew the true events. So from that Monday afternoon or sometime Monday all the way to Wednesday early morning, I don't know how much sleep he's had. I know he's been under a lot of pressure, obviously, from questioning and interviews and what have you. So I didn't expect to see much of him, much other than just being somewhat stoic, kind of zombie, you know, out of it. That's when when I left him in his room, he was sitting in a chair. And matter of fact, I remember hearing a comment with Jen when I was talking to him. They were driving over to the hotel. You know, she's yelling at him to wake up because he was sleeping in the car. Mm-hmm. And when I left him in his room, sitting in that chair, he looked like a guy that was going to pass out. And to hear that he drove down to Northport and back shocks the shit out of me. Unbelievable. So, you know, the guy was like out of it. And where he came up with all that energy to do that. And then when he comes back to the hotel room, he's got an energy drink, and then he immediately crawls into bed, and he is dead to the world. You can't wake him up. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, all these hours and everything else finally caught up to him, but there was no waking him up. He was passed out.
Okay. Jeremy?
I seriously don't know what he would have done if he'd had access to the house. But what he didn't realize is that when Chris leaves, this house gets locked up like Fort Worth, like Fort Knox, whatever it is. But because I never lock that door because it's a pain in the butt to get it up into the security position. And Elliot dislocated my thumb, so not one of these dogs are ripped a tendon. So I'm right-handed, so it's even harder. But I did do that because I don't know.
I do want to touch that. When Northport was here, apparently they were given a computer. Is that
I
right?
gave him a computer.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there was a desktop computer sitting here, tower. And I told Alex, I said, hey, you know, it's got a tower unit here, desktop. I said, you guys want it? And they said, yeah, we'll probably do that. And so, again, I reminded Northport Police that it was here, so I gave it to them.
Okay.
Do you know what Stephan's dominant hand is?
What is what?
Dominant hand?
Right.
Is right. A couple questions. I know you mentioned part of his childhood and having that traumatic car crash. What else was his childhood like? Did he have a pretty normal childhood? Did he have siblings? Only child?
Well, he has an older brother that was in the Navy, but you know,
they're 11 years apart. So it's basically like having raised two single children.
Okay.
Because of the age separation and what have you, I mean, his older brother, they weren't very close because of the age difference. So his older brother was never around that much.
Okay.
Well, he joined the Navy right out of high school. He and a few of his friends, and they've done wonderful with their lives. But yeah, no, he loves animals. Always picking stuff up and bringing it home. would not do a single chore around the farm when we had the farm.
Is he a clean type person, or
no, Jesus God, no, he's lived in a
Did he use the C word? Clean? No. Always a challenge to get him to pick up his room. Always.
I was going to surprise him and put a hazmat sticker across his door. Because I opened it and looked at it and shut the door again and said, not going in there. So then I offered to help him clean his room. I said, look, it's hard when it's that bad to even know where to start. I said, I will help you.
Yeah, we tried to encourage him for sports. He played baseball.
He ran track.
But he seemed fine as a kid growing up, and I don't know, maybe later this brain injury started.
He did not have very close friends. He had a couple of close friends and some acquaintances, but those were the only ones. And he took Shotokan karate with Brian. They got up to a brown belt.
How were his emotions as a kid?
Volatile, but also, even in kindergarten, before the accident, he didn't participate with the other kids a lot. He would rather go and make up his own game and do his own thing than that. He has a very high IQ. He's very intelligent, and I think that I was in college at the time too, trying to finish my degree, and I had all my books, oceanography and stuff like that, and he was interested. And when he was little, he was looking at my college textbooks, and I taught him to read. And he was reading at probably a 5th or 6th grade level when he went into 1st grade. Okay. He has a marvelous vocabulary. He has a great mind for history. If something interests him, he goes all in to research it.
So, if he's passionate about something, he will
put that
focus.
He becomes an expert real quick.
Became passionate about whiskeys. Ask him anything about whiskeys. Ask him anything about teas. I said, Steph, go to the liquor store, and if you got this much knowledge, put it to use. Then you get involved in these games and what have you. But boy, if he got focused on something, laser focus, and that really at an early age, because we came down from Georgia to Disney World, and he got the key to the liquor bar,
mini bar,
and he stayed there focused until he got that key and unlocked it at 3 years old. He was like that laser focused.
He didn't want liquor; he wanted candy.
Yeah. But he was
the expensive candy that's in those.
He was very, very vocal with us that he wanted more candy, because we bribed him with candy all the way down on the plane. And we were waiting for the car to come to get the car seat put in, jump seat for him. And I'm gonna let you tell it because I started laughing.
So we're in the car, we're on the way to this dinner, and he's in the back seat wearing a sailor suit. And I want candy. No, Stephan, I'm looking at the rear view. No, Stephan, you can't. We're on our way to dinner. Don't want to spoil dinner. I want candy. No, you can't have candy. And he goes, I looked at my rearview mirror, I looked at her, and just started laughing. And I said, no candy. And so everybody's complimenting how cute he looks and what have you. So I got to tell you a cute story. He got obsessed with stuff sometimes, but
And I am loud. When I'm frustrated, I yell. I don't scream. Somebody told us that I'm a screamer. I don't scream, I yell. If they want to hear a scream, I'll show them a scream. But
she's Irish.
Yes.
Do not upset the Irish.
I am Irish. I have an Irish temper. I go from 0 to blow real quick. And I do yell. I do not beat. Do not abuse him physically, but I yelled. Most of the time I'd be yelling from one room to another, but I yell.
A former DI in the Air Force.
Yeah.
And she tried that on me very early in our marriage, and I said, no, sorry, I'm not going to fall for that.
We made a pact when we got married, because we got married, we didn't know each other. We knew each other for 5 weeks on the phone. We met again at our 10-year high school reunion. Got married 6 weeks later. I was in California, he was in Georgia. Back then, the rates changed at 8 o'clock my time, 11 o'clock his time, and he'd call me. So we did our courting on the phone, and he came, we got married, drove cross country in my 240Z packed to the gills.
240Z.
A lot of fun.
I fly out to California. She's got all these boxes piled up in the family room. I go, what's that? That's going with us. 240Z. I said, let me tell you what's going in there. Cases of Coors, because you can get Coors west of the Rockies, or east of the Rockies, and my golf clubs. But these boxes are not going to fit in that 240Z. It's just you, me, the beer, and the golf clubs. That's it. And we drove cross country in that thing.
Wow.
But anyway.
But
we digress.
Yeah,
So anyway.
he told me, he says, whatever you do to me, I'll go back to you. Because I slapped him once.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you want me to slap you back? I said, no. He said, then don't slap me. He said, so whatever you do to me, I'm going to do to you. So the next time I got mad, I dumped popcorn on his head.
Mm-hmm.
He picked up the bowl, some left, he dumped it on my head. I said, all right, I get it. I get it. I get it. And we have never, we don't fight like that anymore. We sit down and talk when we're calm enough to finally sit down and talk.
Right.
There's a lot of me going in my room and saying
5 minutes later, it's over.
Yeah.
Forgotten about it.
No, there's no grudges held. But with him, it's you never know. It's like my mother. You never know when something's going to trigger him that reminds him of something he was mad at you before, and then he gets mad about that all over again. And she did too. I don't see any reason to do that, but.
Tell me about his relationships growing up as far as intimate. Do you guys know anything about those? Did he date much?
I know some. I know.
She would know more than me.
Okay. His first real love was Kendall, and that was in California. And that's
What age was that?
High school.
Yeah.
High school?
Yeah.
Early high school, like freshman year.
Okay.
Freshman year.
Yeah, 15, 16.
Yeah, and that was, we loved Kendall, and Kendall loved him, he loved her. That was the only reason he didn't want to leave California, was because Kendall was going to be there. And,
Were they the same age?
yes.
Yes.
And then when we came to Florida, there was this
Crazy girl.
other relationships that were just short, nothing.
Nothing long term.
Yeah, just cycled through a bunch of girls, and the guys he was hanging out with didn't approve of him because they just seemed like no motivation, no drive. I grew up with the. I grew up in Winter Park. I hung out with the elite people in Winter Park. The Showalters and the Manellos and what have you. I worked at the hardware store, Miller Hardware in Winter Park, and so, I had drive. I wanted to get ahead, and I associated with the better crowd of kids. He never did. I never approved them. They were just lazy, looking for the next party, looking for the next hit of marijuana. But so there was just a cycle of those people all the time. But nobody steady that they were aware of.
You could bargain with him. All of his friends were getting tattoos. Chase decided that they were all going to get branded with 521, their 521 club in Windermere. He has a brand on his side. They did it with coat hangers. And I said, if you promise not to get tattoos, then for your 18th birthday, I will take you to a tattoo parlor and I will get you something that's meaningful. You don't want Dice or Popeye or something stupid that you're going to wear when you're 70. I said, what do you want? He said, I want the coat of arms. I said, I will do that for you. But you let me pick the tattoo parlor because I want to make sure they're clean, they're reputable, and I will pay for it. And he did. And he didn't get any other tattoos beyond that. And it's on his right back shoulder. And I said, and don't put it someplace where it's obvious.
I know you said that you didn't necessarily approve of some of these friendships, and then you
Yeah.
said he dated a crazy girl or one or two.
She was crazy.
Were there any inappropriate relationships with
Young?
females? Yeah.
No,
No.
Yeah.
never.
Did you ever see a change in what he was attracted to?
No.
No.
Well, I didn't even know
No.
what he was attracted to.
He was
really.
attracted to boobs,
Yeah, but I don't know what he was attracted to.
big boobs.
There was very. I can't recall other than one or two girls at our house, but there were groups of people when that was there. But I don't even know who he dated and per se. I mean, there was one girl that was a steady for a while, but other than that, I don't know who he dated because he dated outside the house and they didn't come to our house.
He didn't date, he had hookups.
Well, whatever.
And the thing is that the girls initiated them. They were calling him all the time. He wasn't calling them. And then his wingman, Chase, was laughing one day. He said, "Boy, I'm glad Stephan's my friend." I said, "Why?" He says, "Because he attracts all the girls and I get the ones he doesn't want."
What's Chase's last name?
Leonard.
Leonard?
Leonard.
Do you
Leonard.
Leonard.
Okay.
Leonard. Leonard.
He live around here, or
No, he lives. I don't know where he lives, but he
He
was
lives in Windermere.
Windermere.
Oh, okay.
Or
was living in
Orlando.
whatever.
He called into that awful website, Gray Hughes Investigations.
He called
on
into it?
YouTube. He called into it. People are calling into it, saying stuff about him I've never heard, never witnessed, never known, and I am being flayed, because, as I said, I'm a yeller, but I never did anything bad to that kid. I didn't do anything bad to any of them except save them.
We touched on Stephan and Jen's relationship.
Yep.
Tell us about Stephan and Maddie's relationship.
Maddie called him Dad. The last time that they were here, Stephan was sitting in this chair. Jen was here. Maddie was on that side, and she was leaning over with her arm around Stephan's shoulders and petting him with her hand, you know, because she was getting ready to go to sleep. So she came in to get her hugs and kisses goodnight from everybody. I mean, he didn't really interact with her.
In front of you guys.
Right.
Right.
Did she act that way towards Jen too? That same time?
She came and got a hug and kiss from Jen too.
Okay.
She even gave, when I came into bed, she gave me a hug goodnight too. That was it.
Did you see any changes in Maddie over the years, in her personality?
No, we were talking about that the other night. It's like there was nothing visible, noticeable about her change in her attitude, demeanor, what have you. And again, we hadn't seen Maddie since maybe early 23. I think at the same time Jen got her car. They came down for a night. Didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. Seemed like all the experiences that we had observed in the past. You know, happy kid, playing with the dogs, and either watching TV in there, going to bed, or floating around in here.
Did you know her to be on prescription medication?
No, I didn't know. No, not at that time. She was just starting it. That was something that was worrying Jen a lot. She was just starting to show the bipolar, and they thought that was why she was becoming so combative with Jen.
I know you touched on it earlier, but you said Stephan didn't have that, to your knowledge, Stephan didn't have access to your storage unit.
No.
To my what?
To your knowledge.
No, to my storage unit, no.
Who all has access to it? Just you?
Just me.
I don't even have a key to it.
And when I ask access, is it a code to get into the secured gate and then a padlock?
Yes.
Okay. And only you have those codes?
I have the code. It's in my It's in my phone as a contact record, but as far as I know, he didn't have that code. Now, I am missing a key and have been missing the second key for over a year. So when they first started telling me about he came down to access the unit, I started thinking, well, that explains where the other key is then. But I could have lost it, but I have no idea where the key is. And the only way to know whether or not anybody else accessed that is if the storage unit printed out it. And because I don't access it that often.
So I was here the morning that the storage unit was searched. Is there anything of like tremendous value in there? I know there's a bunch of bins and I see a few suitcases and stuff like that.
Yeah, just overflow from the garage.
Some Christmas
I was going to go over and look to see if anything had been moved, because I couldn't imagine Stephan going in there. There should have been a bunch of dog crates piled up, and it's packed other than just a small section between the bulk stuff and the racks that I have there where I have access to.
He did have some boxes of his stuff. But
Yes, but it's way so far back that he would have to empty the whole storage unit out to get it.
Okay.
Back in the left-hand corner. It's well, that's too much work. He wouldn't be willing to do that much work. Has a W in the word, he wouldn't do it.
Did you guys ever witness or hear him looking up inappropriate stuff on the internet?
I have no idea, because we never had access to his rooms.
He didn't use our computers. He had his own.
Obviously, his room is over here. Do you mind if we look?
Yeah, you can look. It's a mess.
Is it the same way it was, pretty much?
No, we started cleaning it out because it's just he's existed in there. We haven't touched that room. At this point, he said, "Well, there's no way in hell he's ever coming back here. We're just going to gain access back to this room and claim it as ours."
We gave the other police complete access to it before we touched anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the stuff that I had thrown away, the trash off of his big table, I had left there in a bag, and I said, "This is all I have done at this point, and if you want to go through the bag, you do it." You know.
So we're just getting rid of clothes and then trash that's in there, and then, like I said, it's going to take a while for us just to get in there and sort it out and figure out if there's anything of value that could be sold, and so. But it's pretty much the same mess that he left it in.
Okay.
That's all I have for now.
I got the floor swept a little bit.
You mind if we take a picture of it when we?
Oh yeah, if you want to, go ahead.
Do you mind if I take a picture of your notepad? Of your notes?
I'll just give you the notes.
Do you have more?
No.
You want to make a copy of them? In case somebody else wants to know the same information.
Oh, I can go do that. Okay to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have the original pictures of the room before I touched it, if you want to see those, or I can send you copies of it.
Yeah, if you don't mind, let me do. There's my card. If you can if you want to email them to me, that'd probably be the easiest.
I took pictures because it was so disgusting. It'll take a while. I've got a week's worth of pictures on.
Yeah, no worries.
I do a lot of pictures. Do either of you like Trump?
I'd rather hold my opinion to myself, especially being on the record.
I'm not going to say it on the record. I was just going to show you something cute.
Can I make a personal observation?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
What are you showing me?
That is funny.
Oh, so when this thing came down Wednesday afternoon, we meet with the detectives and then personal escort and what have you, and then everything goes dark at 4 o'clock. 4:04, I get a text message. Finally, I get a text message from Jen trying to figure out what the F is going on. And she texted me and said, "Get Stephan a lawyer now." Okay. why? And then she says, well, they have found these images on Stephan's phone that there's sex acts between Maddie and Stephan. And I go, like disbelief, and go, okay. And I asked her how long, and she said 2 years. And she said something to the effect, like he needs a lawyer up. And I thought that was just really weird. And so a few hours later, she finally comes out of the. I'm communicating with her before this, and I said I got to go get something to eat, and got to use the restroom. The station's locked up. I can't get in. And she said, well, they said go up to a Wawa or something. I said okay. And the next thing you know, no, they're going to let me out and go to get something to eat. So she comes out, and demeanor is just matter of factly, everything's fine. And we get in the car, and we're talking, and we go to get something to eat. And I kept thinking, this is a woman who just learned that her child had been sexually abused for the last 2 years, and she's acting towards me like nothing's happened. And it's like another day, another evening out, we're just spending time together. That entire time, and then I take her back to the police station, and then she's done with her interview. The detectives come out and say, hey, we want to talk with you. I said, fine, there's somebody going to have a conversation with me. Arrange for her to get in the car to stay with Sailor, and I go up and have my conversation with Alex, and then I go back to the car, and I'm going to take her back home because she needs a ride home. And even her demeanor of coming out with the detectives is just like, everything's fine. And
did she act like that during previous contacts with you guys, whether it be last month, last year? Was it the same kind of interaction?
Yeah. If anything, this is the most interaction I've ever had with her. Because when she came here, I never really interacted with her unless we're having a meal together. And so we're leaving, and I'm taking her home, and I kept thinking as we're talking, I'm expecting her to just blow up and start beating the shit out of me, or scratching me, or chewing my ass out. But no, none of that. I kept waiting for something to explode. As a matter of fact, as we're leaving, before we went downstairs to the lobby, Stephan handed me his pocket knife and said, you better hang on to this. That's okay. And then I threw it into the console of my car. As I'm leaving, I look down and I see this knife, and I go, call Alex and say, hey, Stephan gave me his knife that's got it in the console. Maybe you should have it. So I swung back around and took it to her, and I didn't get any questioning from her. What are you doing that for? I kind of expected that, but I didn't. Ran to the piece of paper, gave it to Alex, gave him a statement, and we left. Took her back, and everything, she's acting just too normal. It doesn't seem, it's acting abnormal because she shouldn't be that way. Her demeanor should be entirely different. And then she goes on to tell me that Stephan was sexually frustrated because she and Stephan were not having sex. Her medication changed. She didn't have any interest in sex, and so there was no sexual engagement between the two of them. And I said, well, this is really unusual conversation to hear this from a mother. That if you ask anybody else, what would your reaction to be? I said, I would be batshit crazy beating somebody up, and that was not the case. And then I saw the interview. And I said, I keep thinking, if I saw that interview Tuesday and they called me, I said, no effing way would I have gone to Orlando, because I would have seen for myself, like everybody else did on YouTube, they weren't buying the story. And what I saw Stephan doing was a repeat of what he had talked to me about on Monday evening.
Video and pictures.
Thank you.
I was just, I couldn't, her mannerisms were exactly what I saw and observed Wednesday evening, if not even better, I was just in disbelief as to how she spoke and how she handled herself at the point where the bird came into the scene and was squawking or doing whatever, and everybody paused and you waited, and then it stopped, and then she smiled, and I said, boy, that's an unusual response to smile about this bird. And I said, hope the beater was just way off. But then, it carried forward into Wednesday. I don't think I would have come up, but then I wouldn't have learned some other things about her had I not come. But it's like, why was I brought to Orlando? Unless to get me out of the house.
Which left me here alone.
So I have no idea, but
so you watched his interview that he gave to the news, right?
Yeah.
Because you said that was roughly what he told you on the phone.
Yeah.
What was his reaction like to you? Did it seem genuine? Did it seem...
It was very difficult to tell when he was... I could never tell if he was lying to me or not. I mean, it was very difficult. I just, at one point, I just said, you know what? If his lips are moving, he's lying, and I'll never get the truth out of him, and there's no way of breaking him. We're missing a Rolex. Where did that go?
My father's Rolex.
So, he would never fess up to that. And again, where did all this money come from? Where's his Omega watch? So I'm assuming where all this money was coming from is that maybe he sold off his Omega and maybe sold off the Rolex, which I find shocking. He would sell that Rolex first before he would sell his Omega, because that's how much he cherished that watch. He inherited some money and immediately went out and spent $7,000 on a watch like he really needed to. So I have no idea where that was. But he was very impulsive. He couldn't wait. If he wanted something somehow, some way, he got it.
Do you guys have ties to St. Cloud?
No.
We did what?
St. Cloud. No,
St.
we
Cloud.
have no ties to St. Cloud.
No ties to St. Cloud.
Yeah.
Any reason why he would have went there?
I have no idea. Other than the fact that maybe he's just trying to get as far away as possible. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, based on what I've seen on TV, I can see where the flat occurred and where he had to drive, I guess, 2 miles back to the hard surface. And maybe something happened. He drove that rubber right off that wheel. I have no idea why he was down there.
Obviously not an easy question. Do you think he was capable of doing what he did?
I would, if you had asked me Sunday, I would have said no. Never in a million years. He loved that child that was supposed to be his stepdaughter if they stayed together. He helped raise her. He was not allowed to discipline her. Maddie did that. Jen did that. But he acted as a peacekeeper. But no. And to kill her? No. I think if I had to put forward a guess, I would think that it was accidental. I think that, I know it's stupid. Yes, I'm Irish, and yes, I've had dreams that are precognition. Yes, they come true, but I did have a dream, and in that dream, they were in Stephan's room and in Maddie's room, unclothed. Jen came in to wake her up. Was confronted by the fact that they were together in a way they shouldn't have been, and I think a struggle ensued, and she either hit her head or broke her neck. So I don't think couldn't have been a gunshot because everybody would have heard it. I think stabbing, you'd have found blood. So that's the only thing I can think, and that then as she would have told Stephan, and in my dream, this is all your fault. You caused this. This is all your fault. You have to fix it.
We think he's being the front person on this and falling on the sword, and Jen's definitely complicit in this in some way. That's what we think.
So then you believe that Jen would have prioritized your son more than her own daughter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Because she didn't have anybody else.
Oh, I think they made a pact.
I think they
and again,
decided who was going to
you look at her hugging him and consoling him at that interview, knowing full well what the truth is. And I think Stephan's decided to be the fall guy in this because he's feeling remorse over the inappropriate relationship he had with Maddie, and that since if he's going to be discovered in this that he's going to be the front guy of this, but
That he
she's
owes
just
that
as
to her.
culpable as he is in this.
The other thing is that as a mother, I have seen that child cry. You do not fake the sound in his voice, the clogged sinuses that he was dealing with. Mm-hmm. The man was sick. No. I don't know if she just feels vindicated that she took care of it. I don't know, but I know that he's the only one that's feeling any remorse or any sorrow for that child, and she is not.
I told Debbie when I left Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, I said, do we really know our son? Because at that point, I didn't know what to question. But,
Apparently not, from some of the stuff that's coming out of these calls into Gray Hughes.
yeah, but anyway.
I mean, stuff that one kid said that we were providing him with Hustler magazines. We've never had a Hustler magazine in our house. We don't have booze in our house unless it's for people to come to visit. We don't drink. We don't do drugs. Don't smoke cigarettes anymore. Quit those when I was before I got pregnant with him.
Yeah. Just a lot of it, connecting the dots after the visit, what have you, and then seeing that interview, I was like blown away by that interview. It's like,
I think people are making some crap up just to be sensational.
yeah.
It's the internet. You gotta take it for what it's worth.
Just
When do you think, well, I don't know if you can tell us or not. I see 3 milestones coming up that we have to prepare for the backlash. The autopsy, obviously the charges that come out afterwards, and then if the other shoe drops with Jen, and hopefully that happens where it diffuses some of this to where it needs to go as well.
Mm-hmm. I can answer one of those questions. The autopsy is done. The autopsy was done Saturday. But as for the other two, we can't really.
The top of the
Yeah,
heap.
I know you guys had to get your act together on that because that obviously is very important to the case in getting all that put together.
You're not going to tell us how she died, are you? Or when?
They can't do that. No, can't do that.
When everything comes to an ending,
we need a heads
we
up
will.
because we've already had people coming to the door with microphones and crap and vans out front, and I'm getting hate mail, hate texts, hate phone calls. People saying some pretty awful things to me about being a rotten mother, and
what we've explained to others that we have interviewed, we can't tell you guys what to do. All that we can do is ask, is it if media contacts you or something like that, you don't want to contact them, direct them towards us. And then we will do, our department will handle the media stuff.
Northport's been great. They've actually stepped up their patrol units here. They know what we're up against, so they've been very helpful.
well, the Landrys were here, so they've been through this before in the last 2 years.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
Isn't that strange? Tiny little Northport where people go to die. This is God's waiting room, a bunch of old farts here. And we have 2 murders.
Well, it wasn't here.
It wasn't, no, it didn't happen here, but still,
Yeah.
they're tracing the parents to Northport. Well, the Landry kid came home and they helped him, so that's a little bit different. But still, I don't want to feel like I have to look over my shoulder all the time. I don't want to feel like I have a target on me. It's you have to have nails to get that out. You want me to get it out for you?
I got it.
Well, like I said, I really do appreciate you guys speaking with us. Since our conversations were recorded, I swear everything that you told us was true and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I knew there was a reason there were 3